Good evening, glory. Hallelujah to you. What the heck's your story and what's going through you? This is the glorified version of a Bass and Talk Show. I'm Pat Renwick. Give it up for yourself, Bass Galaxy. It's Wednesday night. And it's time to party. Come on. Come on. That's how you do it in the Bass Galaxy. Hey, via satellite, my co-host, he's in Sturgeon Bay. Give it up for Ryan Popcorn Whitaker Kachow. He's in West Wisconsin.
In the western part of Wisconsin.
Yes, Ryan.
It's actually the eastern part of Wisconsin.
Yes, it's more westerly. Hey, the decline of Western civilization is not now. The rise of proper bassin is now. Tonight, we have Ryan Whitaker. Guess what? You know what? It's happening. James Watson and Gerald Swindle address the Bass Galaxy tonight here on Straight Cast. Now they're shy.
I heard those guys are going to be here.
Yeah, they are very soft-spoken gentlemen, often never opinionated. Hashtag sarcasm. Ryan, they're gonna give it to us tonight.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're gonna let it all hang out, and we're looking forward to it tonight.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
James Watson and Gerald Swindle tonight on Straight Cast. Pretty excited about that deal. It's been a long time. We had him on before, Ryan.
Yes.
It was quite an experience. So we needed some fun in our lives.
Have they been on together before?
Yeah, they sure have. You were doing something that night. You were in Puxatani, I believe. But yeah, I mean, it was. We needed some fun stew and giggles dumplings in the Bass Galaxy, so I called our buds James Watson and Gerald Swindle tonight here. So pretty excited about that deal coming on. Hey, you know what's going on here besides that? Ryan Popcorn Whitaker tonight. Tonight we have well, I'm just gonna lead it right on down the road. JR Rockin' Shoal Fantasy. He's in Alabama right now with a banjo on his knee and running the Straight Cast chat board. And guess what? A couple things going on there tonight. Get your questions in for James and G-Man. JMFW worldwide. And G-Man will answer anything. Get the questions in on the Straight Cast chat board. And Rockin' Shoal Fantasy is going to get them to Ryan and I and Gingy. And we're going to answer them for you. Also, like and share contest tonight. Get this. Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey Fun Pack to your door. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Also, a Stray Cast Fun Pack to your door. Compliments of Ryan Whitaker and myself to your door. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Also, a James Watson prize pack coming to you. Your door. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Could be an FBD hat. Could be an old pair of undies. We don't know. Whatever James picks. Like and share the Facebook feed. And finally, Gerald Swindle. He's giving you a utensil from his camper. His camper kitchen. I think it's an old canteen. Half of a canteen lid. But if you like and share the live Facebook feed, Swindle's throwing something in too. 4 chances tonight. You got a Tin Cup box. You got a Straight Cast box. You got a Watson box. And you got a Swindle box. JR's monitoring it all. And get your questions in. We're going to answer them here tonight on the Straight Cast Show. What do you think about that? Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Moving it along. Hey, we were off a week and we had a chance to recalibrate. And Ryan adjusted his settings. And I adjusted my settings. So now Ryan's 60 feet out and I'm only 20 foot out. But we're still seeing things clearly. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You know what I need, Popcorn? But you know who sees things clearer than all of us? He is a champion bass fisherman. Yeah, he's a champion bass fisherman. And he produces the hell out of this Stray Cast Bass and Talk Show. It's Andrew Ellenberger. He's a ginger ninja. Give it up for Evan Timmons and Andrew Ellenberger, 2 times in a row regional champions, Lake St. Clair. Welcome, Andy.
What's up, Pat? What's up, Rye?
Man, you just keep winning.
We try.
Dude, is it the Pedro rocks? I mean, I'm doing some historical, I study the history of bass, and then I study the history of your bass fishing, Andy Ellenberger, and I've noticed since you got the Pedro rock, things have escalated in your bassing.
Doesn't hurt.
It don't hurt. I mean, is it just a coincidence, or is that just, I mean, I noticed when you got that rock, things went forward.
Well,
The
hey,
Pedro Fighter official rock.
I just got mine.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
we'll see.
See
Right?
what happened.
Look out.
And
Thank you,
Andy's-
Pedro, if he's watching.
He might be. Hey, Andy, seriously, to you and Ev, congratulations, bud.
Thanks,
2
man.
years in a row. Lake St. Clair Championship, 23 plus pounds, buddy.
Yeah,
Yikes.
it was a fun day.
Yikes. Hey, I got to say something, and I'm being totally serious about this, and it's actually comical to me. But listen to this, Andy. You are a perfect example of someone who actually utilizes this show to its full potential. And by that, I mean Andy, as the producer of this show, he retains the knowledge that these professionals give on this show. And we might not even ask for it, but Andy's getting the sneaks, and he's remembering it and using it to your advantage. Aren't you, Chinch?
Yeah, everybody should.
I know. I see you, though, more than ever, taking notes. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when we got Claire guys on. But congratulations.
Thanks,
I
man.
gotta ask you, Andy, what was the Keith Carson episode beneficial to your success?
No, actually, we didn't do any of that kind of thing.
Really? No minnow?
Yeah. No, not one minnow.
Every smallmouth was
Wow.
on a frog.
Oh,
Top water.
top.
Skipping docks. A lot of wind.
Rig
A lot of wind over on there. On Claire, he had to go into the canals.
Yeah.
Skip docks. Got all 5-pound smallies, 23 pounds. Good job, bud. That Berkeley frog's awesome for smallmouth.
Swamp Lord.
Swamp lorded the heck out of them.
Yeah, congrats, dude. That's awesome.
Thanks,
For
man.
real.
Appreciate it.
That's awesome. Ginge, just keep winning it. You're winning at everything. You're a great dad. You're great at hockey, and you're great at bassing. You're a great husband. You're all that stuff.
I
Good
appreciate it.
son. Yeah, you're doing great at life. You're kicking ass. Keep kicking ass, Andy.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it.
Thanks for
Hey,
being a great host.
moving on.
Andy.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a couple of opinionated gentlemen coming our way tonight, Ginge. You ready for this?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
They're ready. So
Let's do it. All right. Hey, you want to take care of some business here? You want to do it? Oh, yes. I guess it's about time we talk about it. Let's talk about it. Ryan, you want to make a
Talk
bet?
about it?
You want to make a bet, Ryan?
Yeah.
You want to make a bet on anything?
Yes.
All right. Well, what's going on, Ryan? Where can the Bass Galaxy make a bet on anything? From
This
foosball
just
to
in.
basketball to bass fishing to reality
Yes.
television. Where can the Bass Galaxy make bets?
Bet DSI. Yes. BetDSI.eu.
BetDSI.eu. All right, they're a new
Yes, sir.
advertiser here on Straycast. BetDSI.eu. You go there today, tomorrow, whenever, and put in code BASS. Rock and Shoal Fantasy. He's got the link in the chat board. Put in code BASS. And what do you get, Rye, when you do that? What's the deal?
120% cash bonus with deposits up to $1,000.
120% cash bonus. Up to $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
Ryan, I understand you can literally bet on anything with this deal.
You can literally bet on anything. Yes.
Even reality television.
reality TV, the Oscars, the NFL, MLB, NBA, anything that's on
NFL
television.
and PFL, NBA, BASS,
Yes, sir.
all of it.
Yes.
All of it.
Yes,
That's
there's enough people that wanna bet.
BetDSI.eu.
You can
What's
bet
that,
on
bud?
anything.
Anything.
I said if there's enough people that want to bet on it, you can bet on it.
Interesting. It's a whole new concept in betting.
I mean, I've been wanting to place bets on bass fishing for years. Like that's something that I can't believe that we're betting on professional bass fishing. I mean, fantasy fishing's a thing. It's a big thing. we should be throwing money down, other than just me and my buddies throwing
Side
money down on the AOI phones or whatever.
Bet
Yeah. It should be public,
DSI.eu.
and it is now.
Promo
Yep.
Bass available now. And of course, bet on foosball. It's football season, bud. Right now.
Absolutely.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Hey, Ryan.
Throw some money
you know
down on it. Yeah.
there it is. Ryan, you know what's good for timing?
What's that?
You know what's good? Your Bob's Jack plate.
Yes. Yes.
It gets you to the
also
hole
good
on
for-
time.
It's also good for getting out of the boat ramp that's like 18 inches deep, which I was at today. And without that
okay.
thing, I wouldn't have got out of there. Yeah, it's amazing.
Helping you out there, jacking it up in your Bob's Jack
Yeah.
plate. When's the Derby? This weekend, right?
Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday. Gotcha. Hey, Popcorn Whitaker. We know that. What's the cheat code for smallmouth again? What's
Max
the cheat
cent?
code? Max cent. Are y'all maxi sent it up?
Yes, very much so.
Maxi as can be.
And largemouth too.
Okay.
I mean,
That's the cheat
ba-
code.
basically
Remember, you heard it
all-
from
all
Ryan
gas.
Whitaker.
Yeah.
OmniaFishing.com has the max end as well as tournament rewards. Ryan, did you look at the Premium Pro app before you went to Sturgeon Bay to check the deal
I
out
did.
there? Yeah,
I did.
To your favor?
Yeah, I mean, to everybody else's favor too.
True.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'll check this out, and then there's 30 other guys there. But yeah, I mean, it's getting the word out there, and those spots are good, and everybody else knows now too. But yeah, if you're going to a new body of water, it's a no-brainer. It'll send you to popular spots, historical spots, and it takes a lot of the guesswork out and just put you on some fish to get started. So,
Omnia
it's awesome.
Premium Pro, OmniaFishing.com. Check it out. It's a new app. Sweeping the nation right now.
Yes.
Popcorn Whitaker. You know what they say?
What
You're
do they
going to
say?
be in a little bit of trouble if you take your whiskey home. So this guy, the whiskey gypsy, you know what he does? He keeps
takes
it on the
whiskey.
road. There he is.
Hey guys,
Ladies
What's
and
up, Luke?
gentlemen, it's the one and only Luke Foley, Whiskey Gypsy from Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey. Welcome, Luke Foley. You're looking like a dark Sith Lord right now.
well, I got a little cold, or I was a little hungover from yesterday. I'm not sure, but I got the chills, and even though it's 90 degrees outside, I'm sitting around the house in a Revo hooded sweatshirt. So
Okay. I like the plug there for Reba.
Yeah.
That was pretty good how you did
Yeah.
that. And I hope you feel better. And I see that the cure for your ailment is the tonic that you bought at the World Fair. And that is the Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey, the official brown liquor of Bassin. Isn't that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at you. Salute.
Yeah.
Salute. And Luke Foley, he comes on this show every Wednesday when we're doing a show. And he gives us the Tin Cup Whiskey word of the week. And when you hear that word every week, you take a little sippy. And when you sip, we ask that you please sip responsibly. Now, Foley, when we hear what word tonight, are we taking a sip? It could be Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey. It could be a Cafe Con Leche. It could be nice cold Coca-Cola. Whatever it might be. Foley, what's the word?
It's got to be 2 words. You got
Two words.
great guests on tonight, so you got to have G-Man and Worldwide,
G-Man and Worldwide.
which you guys have already said a couple of times. So you
Wow.
need
So
you
any
need to-
variation of Gerald
Mhm.
Swindle or any variation of James
Yeah.
Watson,
Yeah.
and you take a sip.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And by the way, Foley, in case you haven't heard, the like and share contest tonight, Tin Cup Whiskey, giving away a box of goodness to your door, wherever that may be in the continental United States of America. Also, now all you got to do is like and share the live Facebook feed. Foley, get this. Now, you got to enter for this. You can
Yeah.
win a utensil from Gerald Swindle's drawer. This is real. It's a random utensil. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Also, James Watson is giving away some Watson apparel. Used Watson apparel. So we'll have to see what this is. Yes,
See what that is.
used Watson apparel. And Ryan Whitaker and I are chipping in on a Stray Cast box of fun. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Your chance to win 4 prizes tonight from Watson, Swindle, Tin Cup Whiskey, and Stray Cass. Boom. There it is. And Foley, the Tin Cup Whiskey word of the week tonight is any variation of Watson and Swindle. You hear that? You take a sippy. And Foley, I know you're not feeling good, so you'll be around all day tomorrow. And if if they got to call off work, you just direct message, slip in Foley's DMs. He's going to call you off work. You don't worry. You have fun with G-Man and J-Dubs tonight. Okay? This is your night tonight, Bass Galaxy. Oh, and get your questions to Rock and Show Fantasy on the chat board, because we're going to feed whatever you ask to James Watson and Gerald Swindle. So do that as well. Okay, Foley?
Yeah, I'll do it.
And I hope you feel better. Is Courtney going to massage your feet later?
Maybe. I don't know. We're having my daughter's birthday party this weekend, and
you got
to go to Kentucky for 2 days to help Matt with that Onum tournament. So we're trying to get everything ready to go.
What day is Maddie's tournament again?
Saturday
coming up.
We got 250 boats.
The old Kentucky rain.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
He's into those derbs. Popcorn, you got to get in on that derb next time. Go down.
I'm down.
I'd fish it, but I'm working. So
you got to do it.
Luke, what's the sick drink?
Huh?
I said, what are you drinking when you're sick?
Whiskey on the rocks.
Oh, just straight up whiskey on the rocks.
Yeah.
like a regular whiskey. Yeah.
Just some Tin Cup on the rocks.
Okay.
All right, there it is, Bass Galaxy. Foley, we hope you feel better. And again, thank you always for. Did you get a chance to go hang out with Aaron Lewis? Wasn't that?
I did. I and thank you for that. No
problem.
Yeah, after he performed, I went and hung out with him by his tour bus, and he's fanatical about bass fishing. I mean,
he is. Yeah, I don't talk about it, but I hang out with rock stars. You know what I mean?
You do, and now I do too. But I walked up to him and he just goes, "Tin Cup guy," and then he instantly starts talking about swim baits and his high dollar rods and reels that he has made in Japan. And,
I saw him. I seeded him.
They're something else. I can tell you that.
Dedicated. He's dedicated, just like you are, Luke Foley. Get yourself better, and we'll see you next week here.
All right, see you. Love you guys.
Hey, that is Luke Foley. He's the Whiskey Gypsy. Bass Galaxy, don't go nowhere. We're coming back with the state of the Bass Galaxy address with James Watson and Gerald Swindle when we return.
There's a moment when you're faced with a challenge, and just solving the problem isn't good enough, even if that means breaking the rules and shredding apart conventional ways of thinking, all in the name of creating something truly remarkable. With this much control at its command, we didn't stop with just one. We created 2 incredible trolling motors. Introducing the new Power Pole Move brushless trolling motor.
This is the mountain, and this is mountain whiskey. Unspoiled, untamed, forever wild. There's no safety net, no way down. Up here, it's just man, and the mountain, and his tin cup. Tin Cup Whiskey. Mountain whiskey.
Omnia Premium Pro gives you the confidence to eliminate dead water on thousands of lakes across the U.S. Exclusively on the Omnia app, use 10 unique data layers containing critical real-time mapping information to see water temperature, water clarity, contours, lake bed hardness, and important weather data all in one place. Matched with Omnia's loyalty credit program on all your tackle and gear needs, this is the only app you need in your arsenal for success on the water.
Nice, dude. Yeah, buddy.
Welcome back. This is the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show. I am your host, Pat Renwick. That's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. And right now, Bass Galaxy, get ready to get addressed. This is the one and only James Watson and Gerald Swindle. To you, Bass Galaxy, on a Wednesday night. Well, look at you, G Daddy.
Boy, look at that cowboy hat. I did that just for James, but I got the regular hat. I did that just for James, just in case.
Where is he?
Why is he? I like the other one better.
Where's
Thank you, everybody. My fishing career is dead.
Like Michael Jackson dead, or like just
is
temporarily?
He's in the dark.
Like,
someone's in the closet.
Yeah, you're in the dark, James.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going
what?
on.
I look.
Yeah,
You're in the dark.
JMF Worldwide.
Is it
You
too dark?
gotta turn your video on.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God!
What is he doing? What is he doing?
Now it's turned off.
He is doing himself, probably. If I had to
Apparently,
guess.
Mia and Maya Palmer, his twin
Yeah.
dates.
Me?
You know what I mean?
Jiggy and
Yeah.
Gigolo right there. Jenny and all four of her sisters is hammering down to Pound Town. James taking it on himself to Pound Town right
He
before straight cast.
He's out of town, thugging
He's
with his
thinking.
rounds. Apparently.
He's thinking about those Floyd buckets.
What, James? Why can't we see you? Why are you in the dark?
There he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's James Watson.
I don't think I'm in the dark at all.
Oh,
Not with a
God.
skull like that.
James. Is that your fishing
Can you
dead
see me
career?
or not?
Now we can see you.
Yeah, you're fine, James.
Yes.
You are. Now we can see you. You
But
look amazing.
we're looking kind of uphill at you, like a short guy shopping for jalapenos
I don't
at the
have
grocery
any-
store.
I don't have any fancy accoutrements to hold my
Well,
phone.
listen. I've got my iPad propped up on my wife's paper towel holder, so I don't want to hear fancy accoutrements.
Yeah.
And your dog is
Who's
kissing
this
you.
Betsy Guterman?
Yeah, Betsy Guterman.
Oh, you
Look
know
at
it.
that.
She's got 4 sisters.
Look at that. That's the most action Watson's had in a couple of days, too. He's been like me. He's been working.
This is the only fucking thing that loves me right here.
Like,
No,
life is hard
I
right
love-
now, James. Gosh.
We are here tonight to install and reinstall some PMA in James Watson's life.
Yeah,
Yes.
we don't. Yes, G-Man, we don't want that Arms of an Angel adopt a pet music playing.
No,
James,
no.
we
I
want
don't
like
know.
celebrate.
No McLaughlin. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
want
need some like ain't no rest for the wicked, Money
yes,
don't grow on trees. What was that, Sublime, or who sang? That wasn't Sublime, was it?
yeah, or Beck or
No.
something. Yeah, ain't no rest for the wicked. I got you there. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hey,
that might be Beck.
you're-
That might be Beck.
Bass Fanatic, you can suck it. So,
Why is somebody being mad at you already?
who gives a shit?
wow, James, what is
James.
going on with you?
James,
Yeah.
I'm going to go in there and get my wife's Bible, and I'm going to come in here and hold it for a minute
Please
while
do.
you're talking, just
Yeah.
to try to ease you back down.
Yeah,
Don't
you,
have
you
to- hey, if Lulu has to call in, it won't be good.
can you get some snakes?
I
and
would
do
say that
snake killing?
James's last statement counts as PMA in my book.
That's
yes.
it.
He's pretty positive he's
I
negative,
think
but
that's good.
you know it's bad when I called James the other day and I said, "Hey, bro, I ain't heard from you." He goes, "Yeah, I didn't want to bring you down." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I've not been in a good mind space." I said, "Dude, I ain't been in a great one either." But it's just, I was like, we just got to crutch up on each other and just kind of limp through this world.
Well, hear us out, okay? G-Man and James Watson, you guys are very important to the Bass Galaxy because whether you know it or not, you both bring good cheer. All right? You do. All right? You bring positive energy to the Bass Galaxy. Of course, Gerald, with your PMA for years.
Yeah.
And James, whether you know it or not, with all the controversy and let's just call it bullshit that you've been going through the last few months, you have actually brought positivity through this.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
You really have. Gerald, do you agree or disagree with me?
I think so. I think he's did great under the circumstance. And I'll go as far as say this. I don't know that if I would have been done as wrong as James, that I would have been as nice as James. You know what I mean? Like he's pushed the envelope, but he's pretty much swallowed a lot of stuff where he's just walked off. But like I think he's did pretty good under the circumstance because it was a bull crap call. We all gonna know that. It'll be in everybody's book when they write it. It was chicken crap. You know, hey, I get it. You're mad at the guy, fine him, but like it's personal and it's not business. But you know, like right now, him not even being able to fish the Toyota Series next year, what good does that do? I would ask Boyd Duckett that myself.
Does no good.
If I drive back into Guntersville tomorrow and I were to see Boyd at a gas station, I would ask you, what do you think that's proven? Or do you, I mean, you feel like you got a little wood about that? Because all it's saying is that you had to, you're trying to enforce. It's almost like an authoritarian. You know, James has never cheated in an event. James has never had bad publicity as far as being with no integrity. Yes, he's funny. He's crazy. He says some stuff. He pushes the envelope. But James is the epitome of what a pro angler ought to be when it comes down to
he's a proper
working
bassing man.
He's a proper bassman, and he works his ass off for that league. And I've tell everybody that. They'll call me. I've had sponsors like, "Hey, man, we're looking at this James Watson guy. What do you think?" I said, "Let me tell you something. There's not an angler out there that probably works as hard as James for the people in the league." I said, what I admire about James, he'll just straight up tell you, "Hey, I'm not going to make 5 top 10s a year. I'm gonna have me a couple of high spots during the year, and I'm gonna have some low spots." So you got to admire, got to know what he brings to the table, but he works his butt off. So I would tell Boyd, this is a guy that does more behind the scenes for you, but yet challenged you, and now you think that some 2-year penalty, not even letting him fish the Toyota Series when the guy could be fishing at home. What does that prove?
Well,
really, I mean,
Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. You mad at him in the BPT, you mad at him. Don't let him fish. Okay, you got you. Toyota Series, weekend series.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never cheated. He didn't fail a polygraph. We'd be different if he started failing polygraphs and he's banning him for leagues. This is just an authoritarian ego trip that I don't agree with.
Well, again,
100%.
Not only have I asked my lawyer, I had to lawyer up. I've spent thousands of dollars on an attorney to lawyer up to ask the same question that I asked. Please tell me what I said, other than dropping a bunch of F-bombs, what I said on Luke's podcast and on Castledine's podcast that wasn't 100% accurate and true straight out of Boyd's mouth to us anglers. If what I'd said and repeated what Boyd had said, again, it wasn't confidential. What Boyd said wasn't confidential at these meetings. And he just didn't like the fact that I called him out and called him basically selling us a bill of goods and expecting us not to question him on what's inside the bag. I questioned him occasionally, not frequently, but occasionally questioned him about what he was telling us and asked him to be clear about what he was saying. And please don't insult my intelligence as a grown man. That's all I ever asked. Don't insult me. Don't tell me that the sun's up and here it is midnight. And then everybody in the room, 70 some odd other anglers will shake their head. Yes, yes. And then after the meeting would go and say, man, we're glad you said something, James. Well, somebody's got to say something.
That's the problem I have with every league, no matter what it is. It's like everybody's got a lot to say until it times comes to be. Like I always joke with everybody, say everybody wants to be gangster till it's time to do gangster kind of shit, and then nobody wants to do it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so, but what I have learned in my career is a lot of what James is going through, that the leagues, all leagues out there, all leagues, take a lot more kindly to people who just would rather never say nothing. You might break some rules. You might, I don't know what you're going to do. They take a lot easier to that than you do questioning them. So like, if you stand up for yourself a lot or you question them, it almost puts you in a really, really negative light. But I think as a customer, if you're paying somebody $50,000 to go to work, you have the right to ask him why are we cutting the weeds on the power line? It's not saying that you're doing a bad job. I just can I ask you a question? So I think James's stance on that, and everybody needs to know, that's why the leagues, all leagues, write a really, really, really tight, like you can't say anything. And the anglers really don't know how bad that is. So I've always want to ask. Of course, you can't ask it right now, like in the way I want to. So I'm going to be politically correct and just say, if you're not going to cheat on me, if we're married and we write a marriage vows and we get married and we have a license that we're married and you're not going to cheat on me, why are you going to make me sign a non-disclosure that I can never say nothing if you did cheat on me?
Wow.
Right.
And that's what the public, and I think it's a little bit of heart, Pat. I mean, if anybody knows the vibe, Pat, you're out there. You're out, and I'll give you this. There's a lot of great podcasts out there. A lot of guys are hustling their butt off. I'll give you this, bro. You will be there in the mornings. You will jump in the boat with guys. You will do your deal. So when I look at you, I'm like, hey, I don't see this guy as the host of the Stray Cast, the long-haired Bon Jovi wannabe or whatever. Like, I see this guy as like, he loves fishing. He's willing to come put his feet in the trenches, get in the boat, and see it. I think that says, for me, it says a lot. But I'm a little old school now.
Well,
so I look at things different. But like, I would always want to ask somebody, like, when it comes to forward faces sonar, why don't you ever go talk to somebody? Like, nobody ever asked. What I find weird is like none of the leagues ever asked the guys that's in the league. Bass has 103 guys that's probably got more face time, more screen time than anybody in the world. And I say that over the BPT because they only have 80 anglers or 64 anglers or 69 anglers, whatever it rotates to. So we have more anglers, which equates to more eyes on the screen, but yet we're asked very little about, do we think it's changing shallow water fishing? Do we think it's damaging? Like, those questions are never asked to us. It's just, do you want to keep it or do you not? Why not ask the most experienced guys in the world? And they say, all leagues will say, well, we talk to the Game and Fish. The Game and Fish writes tickets, okay? Yeah. One of my best friends in the world is a game warden in Southern Illinois. When he comes fishing with me, you know what he asks me? Lots of questions about forward facing sonar.
Really?
You know, that because he's not in the boat, and he will tell you that. I'm not in the boat 12, 15 hours a day, you know? So why not ask the guys that see it every day, the BPT guys, the elite guys, and say, hey, do you see any negative feedback? The hard part of that is getting a true answer for like if it's somebody's ace in the hole. But I've always wondered why not depend on us a little more for that knowledge. Why hush us so much? I get it. It's business. And that's what somebody said. He said, it's their business. And I said, but I pay $50,000 to go to work.
Yeah.
So I was having a discussion with somebody with the organization the other day, and we were talking about just some stuff on FFS. I just want to understand it. And I set the conversation by saying, and I truly am, I'm working on writing 2 books. And I said, dude, I just want to ask some questions in a way that when I write my book and I write this chapter, that I'm informative. You know, this is because in my career, and I don't know if James feels the same, this is probably the biggest decision I've ever seen any groups make in my career. on the future of fishing. Now think about that. That's a big decision. So by me asking, I want to know where your analytics was, how you gathered it. So when I write my book, I talk intelligent. You know,
Right.
I don't want to be saying, well, but it gets really vague right there. It gets really vague. And the guy said, you know, I made a comment. He said, I said, have you ever done this for a living? And it immediately flipped to, are you trying to say I don't know how to use my live scope? I didn't say that. I did not say that, Kamala Harris. I'm simply asking you, have you tried to pay your mortgage using live scope? Have you ever been in a boat in 250 foot of water in the middle of Champlain, no contour lines anywhere, put the trolling motor down at daylight and pick the damn thing up at dark and swipe left and right all day? And he kept going. I said, answer the question. It's a yes or a no. He said, no, I've never done it. I said, see, we ain't on the same page, bro. We are not the same.
Right.
Because you piddle around with it in your local pond, you're not doing it at the level of those guys.
Right.
And I said, to me, doing that every day, all day, maybe on me, guys, it ain't fun. And he said, well, I can assure you sitting in all these meetings about it ain't fun. I said, glad you said that. See, here's the big difference. I paid $50,000 to not have fun. You get paid more than that to go have that meeting.
That's a pretty.
And then when I say right there, checkmate, bitch.
Yeah.
The difference is I'm paying to come to work to do this. So when I say, and my whole thing was, I think more guys are mentally aggravated because it's just screen time. They're not happy. You see it, Pat. You're walking around the back of the weigh-in stage.
Yeah, but
you see it in that tank. There's some guys looking around like they want to stomp baby chickens and Tractor Supply on aisle 5 in front of grammar school kids. Like, is it because they're staring at the screen? Is it because they're not happy? Something's changed it. I don't know exactly if it's that, but why is there so much like anger? Not
I don't
just
know.
questions, just straight up damn anger.
Gee, you got to be careful with what you say because then you become a fucking crybaby. Okay.
Well, so because you get a little gray in your beard.
That's the flip side to saying anything controversial, or I'm sorry. That's the flip side to saying anything that is objective to the person that you're talking to.
But
you now become a crybaby instead of somebody that can just have a rational.
Well, that's social media BS.
That's a social media. That's what our government does. If you say, hey, I don't quite agree with that policy. Well, are you a white supremacist? No, I've never even met one, and I live in Alabama. So shit, as many of them y'all say is out there, I should know a bunch of them. I ain't never seen one. So it's just it's an answer to deflect from having to get in depth with it. And all I've ever asked for was, like we said, James, more in-depth conversations.
Yeah.
The future of the sport, the decline in co-anglers. Without co-anglers, I can't give boat rides, so it lessens my value to Phoenix. Without co-anglers, I can't show them my Humminbird 360. I can't show them side imaging. I can't show them my Buckeye jig because I'm staring at a screen, throwing at a minnow. I'm not saying I'm not good at it. I'm not saying I'm great at it. I'm just saying it's a big, big picture. So, like, that's the only discussion I ever want to have. But you do get that a lot. Yeah. As soon as you say something, they're like, you just ain't no good at it. I said, well, let me ask y'all this. And then this is going to sting a little bit, Pat, and I'm sure they're going to burn my ass up for this.
Okay.
But, you know, I'll sit back there and ask them guys, I said, everybody here that likes it, you're quick to say that all you old suckers just don't know how to use it. But I said, we're asking y'all to go to 50-50s, fish half and half. Why not? If you was as good as you thought you was.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So if you really look at that conversation.
Define 50-50 for the audience.
Well, I always thought we should do every other tournament with one transducer and a live scope, flip a coin on national TV for the night tournament to see if we used it or not. So what you would get was the best of both worlds. You would see, and we begged that with bass. The anglers begged it. We thought it would be great TV. It's a great build up to the last event. Flip the coin, go in the ALY tournament if you're a great scoper. But, you know, nobody, I said that to young men. I said, y'all are all talking a lot of crap, but ain't nobody lined up to go flipping against me and Hackney and Christie.
That's sure right. Hey,
let me make. So you're telling me I don't know how to use it. I'm telling you, like, it's bigger picture than that. It's an ace in a hole. I get it. And it's technology. People said, don't fight technology. All change is good. Would y'all agree with that? The
Well,
last
if
3.5
robots
years.
rule the world, I don't want to have
hey,
sex with a robot if I can have sex with a human.
Has the
You know what I
last
mean?
3.5 years been good? About that. Has the last 3.5 years been good? All change ain't good.
No,
It's not.
It's not always good.
No. So I don't want to fight technology. I think all companies should be involved. And that's what I thought every other tournament would offer, guys, was it would be like every electronics company in the world would be like, we're in this. But when we come out at Bass and we said, hey, one transducer, all 9 tournaments. So what did we just do? We made Garmin back the #1 transducer company in the world. I buy Garmin's, guys. I buy them. I bought the $9,000 16 Garmin. I'm not sponsored by them. But when we did that, if your whole career, your whole season, your $50,000 entry fees, your $30,000 expenses is going to rely on who has the best transducer and the best interpretation, we just delivered it to Garmin. Because of right now, they're the cutting edge of technology. If we win every other tournament, a lot of guys are looking at Lowrance and you know, Hummingbird's got some new technology. I looked at it. I think they're going to be a hard 9 out of 10. But you got anglers sitting here at home like me riding a tractor going, next season is going to come down to the one transducer. So you're going to try to pay your mortgage and put your grandchildren through college. Whose transducer y'all going to pick?
Yeah.
You strengthen. You didn't let all 3 companies play fairly. If it's every other, all 3 companies have a chance. But guys are so scared. And I'll just say out of a 1 to 10 using live scope, I'd say I'm a hard 7.5 or 8. My biggest deal is I fight demons up here. I don't want to do it all day. I don't know about James. I'll do it for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm like, hey, I want to go skip a jig. I want to go throw a buzz bait. So I fight a lot more internal demons than I do reading that screen. I'm pretty accurate casting. I know what to do, but like, it's not what I want to do all the time. So like,
gee, I saw you. I saw you do it. Now may I say this completely respectfully. Bassmaster, had me covering Milliken. I believe it was at Toledo Bend. And what's the name of that creek that you were in? Is that the Haney?
Haney Creek.
Haney Creek. And
no,
Milliken,
that was Fork. And me and you and Milliken started in the same pocket. Yeah.
Fork. Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay. So anyway, Fork, I see you there in the back of that creek, and I'm like, you know, I'm a fan of the sport, man. So I get excited when I see you guys doing your deal on the water, and I'm like, yeah, there's Swindle. He's in the back of the creek. He's got the balling out jig. He's skipping some docks. That's my 2-time angler of the year right there. That's my 2-time angler of the year. All right, now you see Milliken. How you doing, Ben? I just got 1 6-pounder. You're like, oh, that's it. 1 6-pounder. What you did, G, now hear me out. No disrespect. I watched you as a fan of the sport. Your demeanor changed, and you spun your boat around away from the docks, and you started staring at your screen and live.
I knew that's what was going down. I'm going to get drilled. And I did. In that tournament, I fought exactly what you just said. You witnessed what happens. My heart was saying, look for the fish. It was staged up right outside them pencil reeds, that little grass that was spawning because they were there a couple of days ago. There were some big ones. But as soon as I ran into a scoper that I knew had a 6-pounder, I'm thinking, yep, here we go again. Here we go again. And that's what you fight, those demons. That's the demon. That's the demon. And me, I would love to have been throwing a jerk bait or something, but I make a lot of mistakes fighting myself. But I'm sitting there looking at next season going, okay, if the whole entire season, and we got 9 more of the best scopers in the world coming in next year. So now we've got a whole different animal. You got to have the best of the best. And now that the Garmin 64 transducer is illegal, so that we can't use it. So it's almost like we just painted ourselves a corner to everybody to have to buy a Garmin. Not saying
don't you think? Sorry to cut you off, but don't you think? It seems to me that this argument, anyone that is that's for it, likes doing it, and anyone that's against it just kind of doesn't like doing it. Isn't that all it is?
That's when we hear the argument. They're always like, well, if you say you don't want to do it all the time, they automatically assume that like me and James just suck at it. We're gray-headed. You're old bastards. You can't fish. Just quit it. But I'm like, it's not that. It's, I think what I love doing, you're right. What I love doing is I still remember some of the best mornings of my life. My father was going to take me fishing the next morning in an aluminum boat, and I knew it was summertime and we was going to go throw a buzzbait. I wouldn't sleep at night for the anticipation of that gurgling buzzbait and that first bite. Like, that's the biggest demon I fight out there, you know, because that's what I love in my heart. That's what got me started, man. That's what I live for, is the anticipation, and then calling your shot like, hey, I got this figured out. Not seeing them when there was no machine. It's in your mind. You're imagining what's going on. So I think that's the thing that we could have never explained to people. Yes, there's a group of older guys that, like, they have so many passions about fishing differently. The strength as a younger guy, if you're a scoper, it's all you know. So there's no demons, there's no temptations. You just go with it. But like, when I asked that guy from Bass, I said, if you've never sit in a boat, and Pat, you've seen it where a guy just swipes left to right all day long. It's almost like taking a number 2 pencil and sticking it down your wee-wee. And I've heard Carl Jacobson say it, one of the most positive guys in the world. He come in, he had a pretty good tournament. He said, it's probably a great tournament. I should be happy. But he said, these are the most miserable 6 days of my life. Of my entire life, miserable.
It's crazy, and you said it yourself, Gerald, and I've watched Watson do it too. I mean, like, James, I know you've lost sleep about the anticipation of getting up the next day and throwing a big spoon to some docks. You know what I mean?
Skipping his horny toad. You know, the things that I remember most, like on some of James Watson's great finishes, and when he busted them, is you're like watching him. It's like you have messed around and gotten this guy's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, every fighter, prize fighter, golf player, football player, they have a wheelhouse. And when you get in that wheelhouse, you might get scared up. And you can watch Watson when he picks that horny toad up. And, you know, he was one of the original buzzbait skipping horny toad guys. Like, everybody just always thought Watson was cutting up. But I would watch him fish, and I'm like, dude, this guy is a magician. He is a literally freak with this deal. That's his wheelhouse. And I've had tournaments where I've had Watson told me in before, and I'm like, Watson, you going to throw a spinning reel? Nope, ain't going to do it. You know, I'll give him this. He's not going to budge, but he waits till you get in his wheelhouse and he makes it count. What FFS does, it takes away the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It does.
So let me ask you this, Gerald. Let me ask you this, Watson. Let me ask you guys, what is different about the technique of forward facing compared to, let's say, the technique of flipping, like back in the day? Okay, so back in the day, Gary Klein and those guys, back in the BASS days when D. Thomas showed them how to flip, they started cashing a bunch of checks. And all the guys that were still with the 5.5-foot pistol grips and throwing outside the hyacinth clumps weren't necessarily doing as well as the guys that were pitching in the hyacinth clumps. So it was the evolution of a new technique. Now, is forward facing just a technique?
Whoa. Here we go. Here's why I want to, can I so gladly interrupt you? And
Please. I've heard this.
D. Thomas come in with a natural talent. He had produced a talent of being able to understand where a bass was at and how to place it in there, and never seen him. That self-confidence is extruding out of him on where he needed to put that bait.
Intuition.
There was no fake confidence. In other words, there was nobody standing behind him going, pitch it there, pitch it there, pitch it here. I think that's a good target. D. Thomas established a skill. He worked on a technique till he perfected it. It's all human instinct. It's almost like watching magic when somebody pulls the dove out of your hat. You're like, how the hell did he know that fish was there?
Yeah.
Some of my greatest memories is watching Van Dam early when he would run patterns, and I was so obsessed with it because he could call his shots. God forbid, if Aaron Martin would have had forward-facing sonar, there wouldn't be a record left in the world. It would have took 3,000 pounds to win every tournament, and he would have blew your mind with it. But so I say back in those days, that was just somebody who got introduced to a new technique. It wasn't mechanically assisted. So I always end that when people ask me, so what do you think the difference is? I said, well, let me ask you this. If you guys follow baseball, like baseball, watch baseball, or anything like that, kind of like it a little bit. So let's just say we take a pretty good 18-year-old high school baseball player, pretty good, you know, which we know that baseball players don't get to go straight from high school to the pros. Even when you're in college, you don't go straight to the pros. You get held back several years. They know something we don't know. But let's just take an 18-year-old high school baseball player who can hit pretty good in high school. He can hit 350. And I developed a helmet with a shield on it. And I can put it on that kid, and he can hold that wooden bat. And when the pitcher releases the ball, it tells him the spin on it and exactly where it is and where to put his bat. He goes to the majors, and he bats 400. He good as Sammy Sosa? Y'all, it's a yes or no question. Y'all think he's as good as? There you go. Forward facing sonar, checkmate, bitch.
Wow.
Because the machine told you what to do, not you.
Yeah.
Not you. The machine is correcting your mistakes real time. Somebody said, how can you say that? Because when I throw my lure, if it's too far to the left, I just reel it in and I throw it back to the right. And then
So Gerald, this is not my argument, but when I talk to people and I say something similar to that, they say, well, side imaging tells you where the spots are, where the fish are, and 2D sonar, people are dropping on them and stuff. So what do you say then when they compare it?
I would tell you this, 2D sonar, fellas, you got to at least know where to get right on top of them. When you got a saltwater transducer and you're looking at 400 feet, there's a big difference in the 400 feet accuracy and you getting on top of them. Some that you got on top of them found them. And when you get on top of them, Aaron Martin, bringing up him, was the king of knowing how to be quiet and do it.
Oh, yeah.
There's an art to sitting on top of them by turning everything off and how much racket you make. So everybody said, well, I have had people say that was like, that's the same thing. No. Inside imaging, we're talking about Little League baseball and farming. That's how far that is on side imaging. Side imaging is not a life full-time read. It shows you with a hard spot and there was some fish on it. But you can't see your bait. You think you know where you're throwing. You don't know quite. All that has to be done by feel. So what I always say is you take the human activity out of it. And if you'll watch that, because people's like, I don't know if that's true. I said, watch the shows. Pat, you've been there. So this is going to be, I'm going to ask you straight up this question, and you're not going to, hey, if you feel different about it, you tell me.
Go ahead.
When you watch a guy catch one on forward-facing sonar, is it the same as excitement it has if you watched a guy throwing a buzzbait down the bank and catch one?
No, but I can guarantee you when that one jumps off that buzzbait bite, I'm going to say, fuck you, Bass.
I have more fun covering a guy that's doing bassing compared to forward facing.
Right. So I would ask you this, and this is a great question. I feel like just fishing, not exactly knowing when the fish is there, what he's going to bite, is a much more emotional connection.
Dude, my face gets tight when I'm out.
And I squeeze my rod like I feel it, like I'm like. So I watch the shows and I watch a guy catch one like him. He gets it in the boat. The adrenaline and the emotion is like they're beside themselves. And when I watch live now, and I can say this, all respectful guys, I got my ass kicked all year, so I got to watch a lot of live. So y'all be coming to me in an email, but you don't know. I watched a lot of live. Hell, I worked every one of them.
That's right.
There's no emotion, dude.
Yeah.
Left, right.
Gerald, a good example. A good example is I'm a guide on Southern Lake Michigan. I do that for a living, and I'm forward facing out there all the time. That's what we're doing. That's how you catch them. There's a few other ways to catch them, but whatever. But most of the time, I'm looking for them. I got so caught up in that I had to take a vacation to Michigan to go flip grass to get away from the fishing I was doing there because it felt like work. That felt like work. All that, and it was work, but it never felt like that before. And now when I'm staring at the screen all day, it's just when I catch a fish, I still feel like I'm fishing, whether it bites up forward face or not. It's still great.
Yeah,
I love
you enjoy You enjoy reeling him in and lipping him, but in your mind, if this one jumps off, I'll probably find me another one here in a minute. When that fish comes off flipping or that fish comes off James Washington's buzzbait, he's thinking it may be 2 damn hours before I catch another one.
That one ain't biting again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
and all that work. Yeah.
I think that's what makes the shows like I like watching back TV. And it's weird because I talk to a lot of young anglers that it's weird because everybody says it's the older guys that there's a lot of guys that do it day in and day out that look back at it and go, this may not be good in the direction we're headed. And a lot of them are a lot younger than what everybody thinks. And I was talking to one of them the other day. Brandon Cobb was one of them. And he said, gee, when I started fishing, he said, I don't want this to sound weird to you, but he said, you were one of the guys that I watched all the time, like skipping and fishing and throwing. He said, and you wanted to be that. And then I'd watch Denny and I'd want to be that. And he said, so when I watch TV now, he said, I put myself back at 17. He said, if I watched it now, do I want to be any of that? He said, that's the question I would have to pose to people.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, G-Man. Hey, Watson, with that being said,
I'm about to fucking fall asleep.
I'm sorry.
I'm sick and tired of forward-facing Sonars.
I know.
I could shoot myself in the dick.
I'm
I am
sorry.
sick of it. I am.
Hey,
I just want to go fish.
I know
I don't
you
want.
do.
I do not want to retrain my brain on going out in the middle of the lake and throwing my trolling motor in the water, not on a contour line or anything else, or to think that I'm going to get beat by somebody that throws his trolling motor not on a contour line, but out in the middle of the lake and starts panning around. I'm sick of it.
What's
What's
the solution, James Watson?
I am
What's
not
the
saying
solution?
that that I don't appreciate what Garmin's done for us in the sport. I'm sponsored by Garmin, but I would rather just go fish and get to it. All right. If you can't fish against me, what the hell are you doing in a tournament? And everybody can, because I'm not that freaking good. All right. But the thing is, if you take that one tool away from a whole lot of new anglers, take that one tool out of their toolbox and shit can it, let's have them go fish, and they'll be just like I am and just like Gerald is and everybody else. All right. They have to learn how to adjust and do something other than hold their rod in their hand until they see something on their sonar. Okay. I will make 7 million casts a day to get 7 bites and hope to catch 5 of them. How many days, Gerald, have we had shitty practices? How many tournaments? And you think, man, I think I can get 5 bites.
Yep.
And then you walk away with a nice paycheck.
You sit disciplined enough. Yeah, you're so disciplined. You like, if I do this at that many targets and I present the bait just right, I get 7 bites and land 5. At the end of the week, you've got a 19th place finish. You like that was a good, pretty good tournament.
And 15 pounds got you paid.
Yeah.
And if you beat me deep cranking out there on the ledge, you beat me deep cranking out on the ledge.
Yep. Well, here's the weird argument I get, James, and I've heard it from the organizations and even a few anglers are like, well, you know, we worried if we went to half and half and you guys followed up the BPT or another tour or a local tournament that they would catch more than y'all. I said, hell, Little League baseball players hit more home runs than Major League baseball players, but they're pitching 100 miles an hour playing with a wooden bat. The further you go up in any other sport, it gets harder. Why would I be worried about what a local guy caught before I got there?
Yeah.
He said, what our guys are worried about there, you know, that might look bad. They can fish with shiners. That's what I want to ask everybody. Why don't we just fish with shad?
Yeah.
My ego's not that big. I'm trying to beat the 103 guys I'm fishing against. I don't care what you caught the weekend. I don't want to compare my stats going up there fishing against you guys at Southern Michigan that guide every day. Yeah, every day you go out when I'm practicing, y'all beat the crap out of me. It's the lake. You should but I just got to worry about the 102 I got to beat. But I'm like, I've never got that ego trip of like, we worry about what they would catch and maybe they would think we're not the best in the world. Well, if they don't think we're the best in the world, hell, try to come qualify. Try.
Yeah.
It ain't that easy.
Exactly.
Gerald, you know this as well as anybody. Like what I've seen with the forward facing is it's almost like it's what the guys are doing that are doing it all day long. It is almost like a flip and bite where you put your head down. You're like, I'm going to flip all day. I'm going to get 6 bites. I can lose only 1. And that's kind of what the guys are doing with the forward facing. It's like they'll throw at 2,000 fish and maybe only catch 6 or 7. But the difference is that those 6 or 7 a lot of times are going to be the biggest fish.
Right. Right,
And
because there you see a
that's
lot of
what-
fish that would never get a lure in front of them.
Exactly. But do you think that it'll ever balance to where these fish will get so pressured and so used to this that it will take this technique away? It's not always going to be the dominant thing, and then all the other techniques will come back and be relevant again? Or do you think
Okay.
that this will sustain for the next 20 years?
Here's the most unrealistic, off-the-cuff answer you'll probably ever get on that question. If I come in the house every night and my wife's in the kitchen wearing shorty shorts and a t-shirt, and I go in there and smack her on the butt and I say, want to fool around? No. But if I do that 30 times in a row, the odds of me getting lucky 2 or 3 times are pretty good, right?
Yeah.
There's forward-facing sonar. If you put it right on top of them and offer it to them long enough, it's going to happen. All right. Has it affected? Here's what I was alluding to earlier about why the leagues never asked this. Why didn't they go talk to shallow water fishermen? Because everybody thought, and I had one of the guys from BAS that say, this should make shallow water fishing better. It's made it worse, bro. They can't get there. You think about it. A 5-year-old fish gets caught. And see, here's the numbers that I don't know. I'm speculating. I would say a bass in Toledo Bend that's 6 pounds may have been caught once a year, twice a year max. Now he's getting caught 4 and 5 times in February and March. Why he gonna go up there?
Yeah, it's
so like there's fewer fish there to be caught.
There's a lot of unknowns.
There's a lot of unknowns, and all I can tell you is what's on the end of my rod and with the patterns. And like I see fish night going as fast. When we were at Fort and you're sitting there and the water's dirty, and the water temperature is 60, and you can't find a fish on the bank bedding, y'all tell me. At Toledo Bend when we were there, Pat, it was light. They should have been a bass in every bush.
You're right.
That wasn't there.
They don't make it to the bank anymore. They don't make it.
I sent it. This is a great argument, and I don't know if you guys have ever read it, and I'm not going to pull my phone out and read it to you. But Boone and Crockett is the way that deer hunting trophy bucks are scored all over the world. It's a system.
Okay. Yes.
To get a Boone and Crockett score, you got to have deer's got to be this, and this, blah, blah, blah. But the key when you go on a Boone and Crockett site and look at it, and this is a worldwide scoring, and this is how you judge how, like if you kill a booner, it's 170 inches. All right. The key to that is it says fair chase. So when you click on their page, it describes to you what fair chase is. And in fair chase, it talks about the animal having the advantage and not the hunter. Kind of interesting, right? That's what they consider fair chase. So, Pat and you guys, like, do you think the best in the world with live scope, do you think that fish is at a fair chase? Once he sees him, he can put that bait on his head over and over and over. Do you consider that fair chase?
If a person with a live scope can present it to the fish over and over and over.
Yeah, right. Because he could see him, and we watched it fork. There was guys that would start in a pocket chasing one and go all the way around the pocket chasing the same bass. And they were talking about it on stage. I chased this fish for 25 minutes throwing at him before he bit. Is that fair chase? I'm going to go back to Lulu standing in the kitchen. If I smack that bottom enough and say, hey, you want to fool around? You want to fool? Eventually, you either got to fight or flight.
Well, what's the difference between chasing a smallmouth at Sturgeon Bay when you're seeing it with your eyes, like where Ryan is right now, or sight fishing on Lake of the Ozarks?
That difference is that smallmouth, when you have to get that close where you can see them and you start chasing them, they know you there. I'm not telling you ain't gonna catch it, but his advantage and your advantage are the same. You see him and he sees you. With live scope, he don't see you. Okay, he don't know exactly what's going on, but you keep putting it right here and keep putting, like if somebody walked in James's house and we just kept slapping him on the ear and we did it 7 or 8 times, 10 times, eventually he's going to turn around and slap shit out of me. Yeah. So I had a guy tell me with the organization, he said, well, the difference is the deer hunter that controls when he shoots the deer. It's his decision, not the deer's. I beg to differ. If you hunt in a high pressure situation like Alabama, we have the longest deer season. We can shoot a rifle more than anybody else. Our deer only feed when they think it's safe, which is mostly nocturnal, and they choose their movings very selectively. So is the deer choosing to get shot or the hunter choosing? Like I think there's a big argument there on like, is it truly fair chase? I don't know, but I just think flipping, you cannot keep putting it on his nose over and over and over until he bites. You got 1 or 2 shots and then you move, and you don't even know if it's there, right?
Yeah.
I got you. All right, so hold on a second. I'm about solutions, man. I'm
Okay,
about
come on.
conflict resolutions. All right. So I love this sport. First and foremost, I am a fan of this sport, and I love this sport. It hurts me to hear when a lot of my friends, who are the most amazing anglers in the world, are saying to me, bass fishing is dead. Okay, I have friends that are saying that to me. That are some
It's
of the
like when
best
they say
anglers.
rock and roll is dead. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I
It's
get
not.
it. I
It's almost.
What's the
almost
solution?
dead, but-
James Watson says eliminate live scope. Is that what I heard, James?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, well, what
Hell
did you
no.
say then? What did you
know
say?
what? I don't give a shit anymore. I really
Okay.
don't. I don't. Look,
I didn't
look.
even want to get into it this much, but we got to find a resolution.
No, who gives a shit?
James, do you not feel like a half and half though would be a great balance for the electronics companies?
It'd be nice if you could show up to a tournament and know that you're not competing against it, and they could have the tournament where they can use it. It'd be nice to know that and stuff.
I think the electronics company would still win. I think Garmin would still sell it.
They're winning. Why don't we go to the root issue right here? Weren't we asked as professional anglers at the highest level? Fortunately, I got in years ago through the FLW tour. All right, we were asked to be stewards of the sport. We were asked to do something that's called grow the sport.
Yes,
we encourage high school kids. We encourage high school kids, college kids. Now they got high school teams, college teams, so on and so forth. While we're doing all this, and back in the day, Gerald, correct me if I'm wrong, was it normal back in the day in the late 90s and early 2000s to get a boat, maybe get 2 boat deals, maybe get 2 or 3 motors in a crate? Was that normal for the high level angler like yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Did they sell a bajillion boats back then like they do now?
Yes.
Okay. They didn't sell as many back then to high school dads and college dads and moms. We're selling more product than we've ever sold before. We've grown the sport to such a level of unbelievable stuff. Brand new boat models coming out. What I don't understand about our sport is we were asked to do something to grow the sport, and I feel like it is shrinking for 200 guys at the highest level. I feel like it has shrunk to such that we've kind of just shit in our own basket. That I can say I kind of see. And I don't mean that to disparage high school angling and college angling and young kids coming into the sport. But what I'm finding out that's hard in this sport nowadays is I found it hard since COVID, after COVID happened, that it's been hard to monetize our position as professional anglers. It was not this hard to monetize the sport. I feel like a lot of the younger people are coming in, and I know for a fact are wrapping their trucks and wrapping their boats for $10,000 to $12,000. Okay, you wouldn't even blink if some.
Whoop.
Oh
no, we lost him.
But I know where he's going. Back in the day, we wouldn't settle for that amount of money.
Yeah, everybody's got to get a start somewhere. I understand that I used to do things and wear stuff for my 10% off and my free bag of worms.
Yeah.
But the sport's gotten to the point where there is no separation between guys like Gerald and myself at the highest levels and the guy that fishes the BFLs. There's no separation in the general public. And I think that is the biggest downfall and has hurt the ability for guys like myself to continue to make a living in sport. It's getting worse every year. And we are encouraging young anglers, and this is why it's important when there's nothing wrong with you wanting to get to where Gerald and I are at on the sport, or was. Okay. That is a dream come true to come out here and fish for a living. But what I'm trying to say is it's harder and harder to actually make enough profit after expenses to make said living when everybody's undercutting you, not intentionally, but to try to get that boat deal, to try to do this. It is diluted. It's the best word right there. The guy just said it. It's so diluted that it's making it hard to make a living. Boyd himself single-handedly crushed the value and the platform that we were on the Bass Pro Tour when they announced that they were going to cut from 80 to 50. In the blink of an eye, Boyd Duckett ruined half of our monetization. All right.
It took a lot away.
He took away every bit of leverage I had for the coming season. It just wiped it off the map. Now, other anglers in the Bass Pro Tour won't say these things that I'm saying. They'll just call me and say, thanks for saying it. But that's the problem I got with the sport more than I've got with forward-facing sonar. What used to be able to make a living is now becomes like, oh, you got to catch more fish. Oh, hell no, you don't have to catch more fish. You have to catch enough to stay on the platform. You have to catch enough to stay in the league. And when the league moves a goalpost for whatever reason, you're automatically affected. Unless you're one of the top 5%ers, okay? Otts, Jacobs, people like, that just Brian Thrift. These guys can make a living on tournament wins.
But I think it's even harder for those. I'm noticing for myself, like sponsor money in whether it's the economy, the interest rates, whatever you blame it on, it is really, really leaning out.
Yeah.
And I think we're at the tip of it. And I would ask that from like, if we sit back and just ask, does Omnia Fishing, do y'all see many trends? Like what's selling, what's not selling? Is there a section of baits that don't sell versus?
Sure.
Because I've had sponsors like somebody from the organization said, well, we think there's tackle sales may be a little off, but it washes out because everybody's selling more minnows than they're selling. I said there's a lot of difference in the price margin between a DT6 and a minnow.
It sure is.
And I said some of these suckers are made like condoms, and you can't break them. There was Wes, one of the rookies, told me he fished two baits, only two separate minnows. 10.
Whoop! There you.
Oh boy,
we lost.
Does Omni see a lot of trends and like what people are buying? Like, does bait cast sales seem to be a little off, or longer rod sales? Like, is that something you like? Hey, I can see where this stuff's not selling as good.
I've heard that. Yes, there's a lot more of James's signature spin poles being sold right now.
Yes, yes. And they'll say, this guy said, well, they're buying more spinning rods. A dude that has 5 spinning rods is like having 4 wives. Like, that's a lot. And bait casters and bait rods, we couldn't get enough. You know what I mean? Like, if you watched a video off Omni's site and they went in there and they was catching them on flipping a jig on a certain length rod, guys would go buy that rod because it's technique specific. You could take a 610 metal spinning rod that I built for 13 fishing. It costs $150. You can go around the world, and the same the same spinning reel of mine that's in, like, it's $99. If you're good enough a live scope, you should push for AOY. And you don't have a shoot. You got a pickle jar full of jig heads and 2 boxes of minnows and 4 spinning poles. So I think that's what I see, like, is tackle. Like, we're painting ourselves in a corner where there's just not as much to sell. There's not as much diversity.
I want to go back to what James said.
Wait, hold on a
God,
second.
Here we go.
I want to go back to what James said.
The Ginger Ninja has just brought in a guest. Hold on. It says, I don't know what's going on. And may I tell everyone, this is Bassmaster Elite Series. He's now a sophomore, Gerald.
Thank God.
Kyle
my God. I am thrilled about it.
Who is this?
It's Kyle Patrick.
James is trying to put you in James is trying to put you in a butthole. He's like, he's giving you the butthole.
Lemmy winks. It's the legend of Lemmy winks.
I recognize you.
Okay.
That's funny. No, my lighting's off, but No, I was minding my own business on this fine Wednesday night, and I tuned in, and I was fascinated because I was like, "Gosh, dang, these are two legends talking with two podcast legends," and I was like, "I got some thoughts." So I texted Pat. I said, "Tell G that I think blah blah blah," and then he was like, "You want to jump on?" So I was like, "Hell yeah!"
I see you over there.
Look.
So
about what
James
said,
tube.
this is what I want to. I want to play devil's advocate to what James was saying.
Oh God! Don't start that, James Hall. Don't start it, James Hall.
This is about the industry growing. You are 100% right from my point of view with us being diluted. But do you think that that's necessarily a bad thing in the grand scheme of the sport? Like, in order for things to grow, there are going to be periods where it's not like one cream of the crop, like back when the Elite Series was the only game in town, right? Or, like, we're growing so fast, so that can hurt. But in the long run, is that a good thing for the sport of fishing, right?
Well,
like, we're in a weird time, but is it, you know what I mean?
Okay, here's the question
when you convince people of doing things that somebody's paying you to convince people of doing things, you should continue to be able to monetize that. That's my point.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this.
Paycheck shouldn't go backwards if you're selling more. If you're selling more, you should be getting paid at least the same, if not more.
This is called a healthy discussion, right, Pat? This is what we're doing.
Yeah. It turned into something I did not expect.
Well, no, I didn't either. I wasn't expecting this. I thought we'd talk about like. I thought we'd talk about the crisis at the border and eating cats and why single women are moving to Columbus, Ohio to get their
cattle mutilations in the Midwest.
It's all different, but I like the way Kyle's prefacing that, and I would say. Are we growing, Pat? Are we growing, Kyle?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It's growing. Kyle came aboard.
This is a trick question.
Hey, I think we are. I think we sell more boats, motors, fishing rods, reels than ever before. I see young people.
We do not sell more. We do not sell more rods and reels than we ever have before. That's way off. That is a Kamala Harris answer. When you see rod companies losing their ass and you sell reel companies losing their ass, you're going to have a hard time telling me just because you say we grow we grow it.
But is it because there's more? Is that because there's more rod and reel companies, or is that because there's, you know what I'm saying? Like
all rod and reel. Show me a rod and reel company that's booming. Didn't Daiwa just cut their pro staff 75% off the top this week?
Yeah.
Didn't 13 just cut everybody? Look at Berkeley. Look at Lewis. Look at it. See, guys, this is not some bullshit thinking up. This is somebody that's took time on a tractor to call people that he and his sponsor and go, hey, y'all doing all right? No, bro, it's shit over here. You doing all right?
Bus, all right? Throw me under the bus. I'm talking in general. There's more kids nowadays. When I come up fishing, I fished my first bass tournament was when I was 9 years old. You know how many 9-year-old kids fished a bass tournament in the state of Missouri?
Not many.
Maybe.
Not many.
Maybe.
But what I'm saying, James, is.
But nowadays, hold on, Gerald. Nowadays, you look around here, and a 9 and 10-year-old and 14-year-old are fishing bass tournaments every weekend. Sometimes 20 boats, sometimes 400 boats. Yes, the sport is growing. You can't.
You are making. Hang on. Time out. Let Daddy speak. I love debates. At the young end, what you losing on the top end? Anybody got anything before I hit y'all with the stats? Kyle, have you been out and fished a bunch of wildcatters to see the difference in the 50-year-olds not showing up versus the 15? James, you fish a bunch of 4 or 5 wildcatters on Table Rock every week. See how many 50-year-olds ain't showing up versus 90? Where ass ain't growing, dumbasses. You're losing them on the top as fast as you're gaining them on the bottom. For God's sake, drive to the lake and watch who shows up. It's just simple math, people. Get involved, get in your boat, and go to the lake. I go watch a wildcatter. None of the guys over 50 ever show back up. So, yeah, we got 20 new ones, but 20 old ones went home. You don't grow. You stay neutral. It looks good because you think we need the youth of America. You need a guy over 50 to stay too. That's what I'm trying to say. How do we balance that? I'm not just coming on somewhere spewing something that I think we're not growing. I'm watching. When I have a high school coach from Texas come to me and say, we have one of the largest high school programs in the country last year. This year, we're off 60% in participation. 60%. I say, why?
Why?
I'm asking why.
Well, Kyle, what's the solution, Kyle? Answer G's question then.
Yeah.
How do we keep?
Right.
Well, everybody looks at what's growing young. I'm just saying, have you looked at what's leaving on top?
I mean,
losing 15%, gaining 15%. There is no growth, guys. That's a neutral position. And let me ask you this: MPFL just proved it. They said we're going to go ban live sonar. There's guys saying we're not coming back. So if I take your transducer away, you're not coming back. Growth anyway. You were a wannabe stand-in.
Yeah.
Lifer. You're not a lifer. Hell, you took my feet. If you come to me and said I couldn't flip a jig, still gonna fish. You come to me and say I can't.
I'd be pretty pissed if I couldn't flip a jig. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But guys are willing to quit because they can't have an extra transducer. So, like, is that growth or is that a temporary satisfaction?
I see your point.
I want an answer.
No, I can only say I see your point.
Yeah. No, like
but
I can see being upset about it. I can't, like I said, flipping a jig. I can see being upset about it. Like, I get the standpoint of, look.
But you wouldn't quit, would you?
No. But the arguments. Yeah. I mean, I definitely wouldn't quit. Now, if I was a guy, say I was 5 years younger and I was 22 or 23 now, Jesus. I was 23 years old, 5 years ago.
You're even 24 right now. My socks and my hunting board are older than you.
I actually wish that I was 24 right now.
Stop.
But if I was 5 years ago, if I had put 100% into live scope because I said I want to fish for a living, it's my dream. I want to be like Gerald. I want to be like James, and the industry pushed onto us, and this is a fact. They pushed onto us forward-facing sonar. That was shoved down your throat. It was shoved down your throat at ICAST this year. If I'm a young angler, and say I started fishing when I was 17, say it was six years ago, and now I'm Drew Gill, right? I'm pretty upset if they ban live scope, and I have the right to be if I'm in that situation because that's all that I've been told to do.
Yeah.
And then they go ban it. You have the right to be upset. Now quit. I don't know, but I get that if especially.
Well, that's a fair statement, but and the same thing, fair. You see why we're upset. I spent 30 or 40 years learning different techniques.
Oh, and I'm not denying that.
And now all of a sudden I can be taken away by an 18-year-old that can beat you pretty much day in and day out, but that's all he knows. He don't know barometer pressure. He's not studying patterns. He just got to see the right dot. So I always say, I go back to that Major League Baseball player. If you could put a helmet on a kid that he could read the pitch, he could see the thread count, and he knew where to put the bat. If he batted 450 in the majors, is he still as good as Chipper Jones?
Right. And your point was never in question. I get that. But I do have to give some credit to those kids that are upset. And hell, I'm one of them. I'm 28 years old. Like I technically fall in that category, but I see both sides very clearly. And if it got banned, I don't think you should quit. And if you quit, you're not a real fisherman. That's a fact.
Right. And that's what I hear people say. Well, if they take it away, we're just going to quit. And I'm like, well, then you really didn't love it. That's why I've always thought the 50-50 split would be perfect. Because it would make, if you were a great
What do you think of that, Kyle? What do you think of that, Kyle?
I've talked to G on the phone about this all the time. I talk to everyone about this. My problem with 50-50 is then you kind of it reminds me a little bit of MLF where the rule change, like there's like what you said with the goalposts, James. Like the goalposts are moving. Like I just want it to be a consistent playing field. I would way rather than ban it than go 50-50.
But here's what I would ask. I would ask, and this is what we call it. This is a healthy debate.
Yep.
If a guy in his heart is a great fisherman and he loves it, and he wants to compete, and he wants to beat the Van Dams of the world. He wants to be known as the greatest fisherman in the world. You're eventually going to have to get off the crutch, because no matter, and I've told people this, and it pisses them off to no end. No matter how much you win scoping, you will just be known as a scoper, and that's going to. Milliken's probably already sending me a dirty text. That's just what it is. And I'm going to tell you why. You can go down the ramp right now, somebody weighing 31 pound at Gunnersville, I'll say, hey, how'd they catch him? Scoping. I just walk off.
Yeah.
Scoper's a scoper.
You are right about that.
You don't have a brand. And here's what I argue. So this is where I get in trouble at the meetings, because I'm sitting there watching the younger guys, and I admire Kyle. I admire what these guys are doing, but I'm looking at them as an OG, and I say, listen, I may not have won 15 blue trophies, and I may not have won the Classic yet, but I can promise you there ain't but 2 or 3 in this sport ever beat what I've made on contract. I know how to make money. Kyle, you'll never have that opportunity.
Yep.
Wow.
Trey McKinney.
I'm going to try my best to prove you wrong.
You won't never do it. You don't never do it, because you're only when Bass put that screen up there when you're fishing, Kyle Patrick's value went down. Because see, then you're not the focus of attention that screen is.
Well,
and the reason people want to come see you at the show is that sometime during something they watched you fish and it was almost magical.
Yeah.
When that screen popped up, it took your center of attention off. So with that gone, it's harder for you. And Kyle's done a great job of promoting himself. Like, he's done a great, even if he's falling in the water, people know who Kyle Patrick is. But why would a sponsor say, we want to pay you $200,000 to endorse our hard baits? Answer me, why would they?
Right.
Oh, they would.
When Gerald, when you caught that what was it, a 10-pounder in California on that
11-15.
You would have known 11-15. All right. You said
I
got it. Let's see if old Hammerhead's on that post. You would have already known if old Hammerhead was on that post. Like, there he is. I might catch it.
I look at that like
it takes that away.
Right. I'm not saying I'm 100% against live scoping. I'm not. I am really not. I just say I look at someone like Kyle. I look at the Kyle Welchers, some of the young guys, the Wes Logans. Guys, I'm 54. I don't know how many years you're going to do it, but I look at these guys, and I've always tried to give back to the sport. And I knew Kyle way back when he was working for other people, so I don't think Kyle could say that I'm incorrect in that. I've always tried to help. If I had some knowledge to share, I would. I want to see them guys make that living. I do. I want to see them know what it's like to not have to worry about catching one on the next cast or you're going to go home. And when I look at that meeting and I look around, I don't see that, because the sponsors are so cluttered with what James said. There's a high school champion every week. There's a BFL. There's a Toyota. We have a winner every 2 or 3 days. So who does a sponsor pick? Who has the selling power? And at the bottom of the day, at the end of the day,
they just chop that pie up even more.
Yeah. What can you sell? A jig head and a minnow and a screen. So the angler don't have an identity. And I think when an angler has an identity, and Kyle Welcher told me this one time, and it's almost like he slapped me with a cold rag, because I really respect what Kyle Welcher said. He's an intelligent guy. He said, there won't be no more ewes in this sport, period. I said, what do you mean? He said, that'll never be out there again. He said, you established a brand and you went with it. He said, the way we do things now, there is no brand. There's a winner every other week, but there's no brand.
Yeah.
I just didn't think about it.
Kyle,
I'm like, okay, how does Kyle Patrick, but hang on, Kyle Patrick had an exceptional year. Top, like for a rookie year, this guy crushed it. I think Kyle will monetize on his great season, but is he going to be able to push it to the limit? Like, are you going to be able to maximize your success, Kyle?
I'm going to try my best.
Right, but you got 20 more guys sitting there right there with you. Go,
James. Go ahead. Get in here, James. Come on,
James. Come on,
edgewise.
Come on,
Kyle. You're going to be just fine. You catch enough fish to maintain yourself on that platform because you got a good personality and people are going to like you. Gerald's made a living with his personality. I've caught just enough bass to stay on the platform and let my personality make me the money. That's what most people don't understand about this sport. People got to like you a little bit. All right. They got to know who they are. Who's the guy that just shoved the flashlight up his ass and turned it on this morning before takeoff? Oh, that was Watson. That was Gerald. That was Kyle.
He jumped in the weight tank.
They're going to remember that more than they're going to remember you looking at your screen or me flipping a bush. They're going to remember your reaction to however you carried yourself. That's what's going to make you a living. And that's what I'm seeing nowadays. And it's so diluted, like Gerald just said. It's getting so diluted that those highlight reels, when they pop up, aren't as meaningful because it's so spread out. It's so spread.
Yes. What was the most watched clip footage we had at Smith Lake? What do y'all think that was on YouTube and all that?
You complaining
about it was Steve
Kennedy. Steve Kennedy.
He finished 49th. Did anybody else want to play chess with me? Because see, when everybody else playing checkers, I'm gonna hit you with some chess.
How about Fighter's frog bite at the
right? So see what I'm saying?
I can only dock bite.
There you go.
That's the most memorable bites in the sport.
Yep.
All I'm simply asking is 5 years from now, when we look back at the archives, is it going to look a little different? They're going to say, check this out. He sees it. So I see that as from what Kyle's financial ceiling is. Like, what does he stand to make? All right. I look at Wes Logan. Wes Logan is a great versed fisherman. He can swim, jig, flip shot, and all that. But when you get in, I'm like, where is he going to cap out at? Where's this guy going to cap out at? How are they going to break free? Now, Patrick, and I tell him this, so this, I'm not just cutting on him. I mean, he does need some Adderall, and he's funny as shit. He can't stay focused, but that's why people remember him. He's a little goofy. He don't have his shoes on. He falls in, but he catches their ass. So it's kind of he separated himself without trying to separate himself, if that makes sense.
Yes.
There's some other guys, when you watch them, it's just like eating really cheap vanilla wafers over and over and over. So then when you have a Steve Kennedy bomb a swim bait out there and go, woo, look at this, you're like, I'm watching that. You know, if you flip it through TikTok and you got 48 fishing videos, and here comes one big set of boobs riding a bike, you're like, I'm watching that for a minute.
Yeah. You like
that's all it is. Separation
I will
financial gain.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all.
I will say though that you know, the forward facing doesn't take away the opportunity to show your personality 100%, though it does dull it down. But I mean, look at Taku.
Kyle's a good example.
Look at Taku.
Okay. But I would say I 100%, with all due respect, disagree. Because when you're 100% zoomed in, do you talk?
Yeah, it's like being on.
Hang on, because if you turn around and say something, they're winning a $10,000 fish, $10,000 fish, $10,000 fish. You ain't talking, bro. Watch that show. They ain't saying shit because bloop, you gone.
He's not wrong, Kyle. He's not wrong. I've been in the boat with you.
But I talk quite a bit. Even when I'm looking at scope, I can't help it. I can't help it.
But you do lose that moment. You have to be focused all the time. I watch you. You're focused, dude.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I missed the cut more this year. I mean, it's like he's cutting off my fingers, and I have to go watch Bass Live and do Bass Live with Mercer and Steve Bowman, and I'm watching the guys. They don't say nothing. They're looking at us like y'all carry the show, and I'm like, nobody's talking because it's zip, zip, zip. Now Taku, he's charismatic. So once he catches one, Taku Gold comes out.
Yeah.
But until then, zip. I don't know that you're going to get that whole free flowing. And Welchers talked to me about it. He said, if you take your eyes off that screen for 1 second, that was possibly $10,000 just went by you. So there's not a lot of time to chit chat, to carry on. Like now, if you're going on a place where you don't think you're going to see nothing, you might turn around and say, hey man, but if you watch, it's mesmerized because if you're like me, you're scared. If I don't see every one of them, I'm going to finish 90 of them. So you're throwing at everything that dots up. You're just
So if we're talking about it from a sports perspective, what other sport do you know where a professional athlete talks when he's focused on making his living, playing basketball, soccer, football?
They don't. But what makes fishing so unique over the years is the only way we've ever made any money. You had to become an entertainer.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We're
Right
not
from Billy
excited.
Vance.
We're not exciting enough to watch. We're like kissing your sister on the prom. We're like eating your own toenails and painting a wall. So when people say, "Well, I don't want to be an entertainer," that's how the sport grows. Is you bring in new viewers. So we're very unique in that when we're at our best and in the heat of the moment, we're supposed to still be entertaining. Now, Terrell Owens catches a pass in the end zone. He does a little dance. Deion Sanders, back now, he was entertaining. But when he was running that route, you're right. We're not talking to him. And the quarterback, that helmet
The route's a lot more exciting than
right. So fishing's a little different.
The sport itself. Yeah.
Right. So we have to kind of get in the mix and figure out how do we keep people to watch. So you got to entertain while educating. And that's what I think sometimes those techniques from like the old D. Thomas days. And when you would watch Kevin, when he would come off with some new swim jig video running 100 miles an hour in a term or something, it was intriguing that he was teaching you at the same time he was performing it at the highest level. You're like, good God, he's telling me what to do and he's doing it right in front of my eyes. So it was kind of magical at that time. Like that's the one thing I just think, I'm like, is the magic going to ever be back?
Yeah. Here, I mean, and let's just face it. I had enough of this. I didn't intend this to be a forward-facing show. I just have to say that.
Why'd you let it happen?
Because I don't know.
James, have you ever pleasured yourself at a truck stop in Mississippi?
I've had to make a few dollars to get home. Let's be honest.
Kyle, have you ever stopped off in a rest area just to kick one down the drain? I just figured we'd get all four facing Sonar. We just go different.
I'm with you, and I want to make James Watson feel better. And
you don't even need to ask that question, bro.
I Love's truck stop in Pontotoc, Mississippi, with my hat on backwards and stall 5, thinking, "Yep, this is as good as it gets right here."
You just roll a T-shirt up in the passenger side window, and
I mean, there's two things you got to be really good at. I had an interview a long time ago with Alan McGuckin. He sit me down with Matt Lee. And he just got into pro fishing. God, my wife's gonna kill me for saying this. And Guck's like real serious. He goes, "If you could tell Matt Lee 2 things he needs to be working on to be a pro." And I said, "Yeah, you need to be working on playing with yourself and tying on, because you're going to find yourself doing it a bunch." And everybody just stared at me. And Matt Lee still calls me to this day and says, "Bro, every time I find myself tied on in the bottom of a boat," he said, "I think about you telling me that." I'm like, those are the 2 things a fisherman finds himself needing to do a bunch.
I don't even need to stop at a rest stop.
Kyle don't take that Adderall. He's hitting them speed bumps. He's like, I'm in.
Speed bumps accentuated.
Kyle's 24. He only pisses twice a day. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle stayed at my farmhouse one time, and when he come in and told me about his practice, I was exhausted from just hearing about his practice. I was like, God, I'm tired from just talking to you. Now, James stayed here, and he put his pictures and baseball cards in my wife's panty drawer. And I am still finding, God's honest truth, I'm digging through a drawer this week, cleaning out my shop. I still finding his baseball cards everywhere.
Yeah.
Signed. He must skip practice and signed them everywhere.
And Leanne's still looking for those 6 or 8 pairs of sexy panties too.
How many drawers do you have to go through till you found the panty drawer?
I found it right away.
I mean, Jane, I had
I think I was chummed into it because they were kind of hanging out the side and out the top. Everything else was nice and neat, except Leanne's panty drawer.
You scarred my little nephew Trey till he will never be the same. James and my nephew Trey had to sleep they were sleeping in the living room. It was a BPT. I think I was down for James.
Yeah.
And I wasn't fishing it. And no, it was an open.
Yeah.
You and Trey was fishing it. Trey was sleeping on the couch. James got in. He was here to fish a BPT. Trey was fishing up an open.
Yeah.
James didn't have to get up. Trey did. He slept in the living room. So Trey had just met James that night, and Trey's pretty bashful. He's not like his uncle, so he's a little intimidated by James. James is in there on the cot on the floor. So I guess Trey's phone was just going off, and and Trey wouldn't get up. And Trey told me the next day, he said, "Uncle G," he said, "James sit straight up in the bed and said, 'Get off your ass, soldier, leave now, or turn your phone off.'"
He did.
Trey said, he said, "I never brushed my teeth.
He said, I stood up and grabbed my shorts. He said, I didn't even have my shirt on. I was in my truck driving down the driveway like, what happened? What happened?
I was like, if I have to listen to your alarm wake you up one more time because it woke me up the first goddamn time, get the fuck out of bed.
So he still laughs about that. He said, every time I hear my alarm, he said, I can hear James Watson sitting there going, soldier.
You should record that. And
Dude,
make it
he
an
started
alarm.
for
I
I
don't understand people with snooze buttons. I'm like, if you want to sleep till 8 o'clock,
dude,
then set your fucking alarm for 8 o'clock.
Look,
Don't
you would
set
hate
it for 7:30.
You would hate me so much.
Oh, Watson
I
will
don't.
whip you
There
into
is no
shape.
snooze button.
I'm a
I've
one
been
snoozer,
woken-
James.
Wesley
One
Gore.
snooze.
Wesley
No.
Gore woke me up. Practice for Wheeler. It was the one time that I did not wake up because Wesley didn't wake up. We woke up at 7:50. My alarm is blaring in my ear and I am dead asleep. Wesley said, "What the fuck?" I said,
How do you do that?
Dude, because it's on. Dude, it's on or off with me. There's no in between. I will fall asleep. And if I don't have an alarm, I have 2 alarms now that I bring to the tournament. I have an alarm that's an alarm clock that it has a speaker on it that I just sit it right next to.
Hell no.
Hell to the no.
Over. Your bunk will be tossed. You and your bunk are going to be tossed.
I would be dragging you outside, mattress and all, and sitting you in your bed and going, bro, we're done. We're done. Because I'm a one snoozer at max. And that's like my day 6 of the tournament. I'll hit the snooze one time. But my wife will tell you, most times he sets the clock for 4:30. I get up at 4:20 before the clock goes off. Just get up. Because I know I got to get.
This is what's weird. When I open my eyes, it's on. There is no delay. I wake up, I put my clothes on, and I walk out and drive away before Wesley can even...
I gotta have coffee.
No, I drink a coffee. I usually get coffee, but like if I wake up, I'm good. But I will when I don't hit snooze, dude. I don't wake up. I peed. Look, I peed in my bed till I was like 13 years old.
Oh God, here we go.
Because I
What just happened here? What in the hell? I've never lost
Hold on.
control of a show like
I
this in my
slept
life.
so dude,
Never.
I slept so hard.
9 years of broadcasting, never lost control of the show ever.
Dude, I used to sleep.
What the hell?
Dude, I slept so hard that I couldn't wake up. Could not wake up.
Kyle, I hope that I get to be a rookie someday somewhere. I'm going to teabag the shit out of you. Why?
James is going to stand over your cold body with your leg down and going, get up, son!
Get that right there. Teabag.
And I guess because and I don't know if it comes with age. I don't know if Pat, you get up pretty easy. I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, like,
no problem getting an erection.
I know Ryan does. You guide for a living. You get up, like you just wake up. Like you got no choice.
No, I'm the guy you guys hate. I'm the 5 snooze guy that wakes up every day.
I'm not that guy. I am the guy that just does not.
Yeah,
wake
but you'll
up.
sleep till 11. I could never do that. I can never sleep till 11. I feel lazy.
Well, if you stay up until 6, you can sleep to 11.
Yeah,
that's true.
To be fair, what I usually end up doing is what I've started to do now because it pisses Wesley off so badly. Is I will start to change my sleep. So what I'll do is a lot of times because I'm like G said, I'm wired, dude. So I'll drive overnight. Like if we have practice starts Monday, I'll drive overnight on Saturday, completely through the night. If I'm driving to Alabama, I'll just start driving at 6 p.m. I won't go to sleep. I'll stay up all day, and then I'll go to sleep at like 6 p.m. So then I wake up at like 4, just on the money.
Cocaine's a powerful drug, son.
Yeah. Crystal methamphetamine.
let me introduce you to some new stuff.
I see where you're going.
I want to get Kyle. One of your guests just had an idea for Kyle getting him a bedwetting T-shirt. I think I'll make one up. I got one here. Send doc pics.
I catch fish and I wet the bed.
Yeah. Yeah,
My
the water-
hey, my
the
fish
lake is
and
not
my
the
bed are
only
both
wet
wet.
spot.
I mean, this is historic. We learned that Fighter had a paranormal experience with his cat, and now we learned that
Yes.
Kyle Patrick is a bedwetter. we learned that James Watson talks to owls before on this show,
Yeah.
and we also
Yes.
learned that Gerald Swindle has done crazy things on the hood of vintage cars before on this show.
Yeah.
We've learned
I have-
lots of things here.
I have talked sexual to myself in a truck stop in Pontotoc, Mississippi at some time in my life. But
Yes,
I'm still thinking about that, hearing that alarm go off. It's like, and I think it's a generation thing because like my wife still like, she's like, when we got married, she's like, I'm, like being around you. Like she said, if you got to get up, you just get up. Like, you got to get up. I have never overslept like a day in my life. Like this ain't gonna happen. She said, why? I said, because I had 2 older brothers. My dad would come down in the morning. We slept in the basement, and my dad would just tap on the wall. That was it. Y'all get up. If he come back in there, Jesus himself couldn't get him off of you. Y'all have no idea. He'd beat the cover.
Oh
slam
no!
off the
Listen,
bed.
it was,
I did it.
All I
Tony.
gotta hear is
did
this,
gee,
and I'm like my dad. I can feel him hitting me with that belt, and I'm like, "Pew, I'm gone."
Yep.
you
My
don't understand.
grandpa-
You don't understand. It was the same with me. Same thing, dude. I was probably, I was beaten as a kid. Okay, like, but trust me.
What's going on?
But the minute I left the house, I was like, oh, I'm free. So now that's when I have that like moment where I'm just like, there's no one to
I'm
tell me
free.
better.
I'll just piss right
I go
here.
to bed feeling like
We got to
That's-
do viewer
that's the
questions.
feeling.
We have to do
That's the
questions
feeling
from
when
the
you leave.
audience.
Did you hear that? Now you don't get
Is
any
that your
ideas
wiener?
from Kyle.
this has been a very informative conversation. We've learned a lot of perspectives. Who wets
No.
the bed?
Yes.
Who wakes up early? Who don't need
You
a
said-
clock?
Yeah.
You
And
said
now if you're
perspective.
listening on the podcast tomorrow and not watching, James has his wiener out. And I don't
Yes.
know what
That's
to
a
do.
big
I'm just
wiener.
making sure Biscuit didn't take any Kyle's advice by just staying in bed. I want her to notify me when she's got
Hey,
to piss.
Kyle, do you need me to start calling you in the morning? Because I will.
I would
I
like
will
that.
too, Kyle. Oh, please. Let me
Yes,
call you.
please.
Well, hell,
Can
I
you
ain't going
guys
to get
do
your
that?
permission. I'm going to
Oh,
fucking
man.
call you anyway.
All
I
right.
want to see. I
We're
want
doing
to.
viewer
James,
questions.
James
Viewer
and
questions.
G, I want to hear
Viewer
both your
questions.
voices in the morning.
Here we go. Now, remind everybody to James, you're giving away something from your compound to a lucky viewer that likes and shares the live Facebook feed.
Say it.
Swindle?
Fishingboatdocs.com, Pat. Say it.
Fishingboatdocs.com. Fishingboatdocs.com. Fishingboatdocs.com.
But hey, Bushbusters fishing, boys. When you want to go bust them bushes,
Bushbusters
Bush-
fishing. There it is. Okay.
Bushbuster fishing. Yeah.
I don't
Now,
really
Kyle, you got to
get
give away something too. What are you giving away?
Pissy
Um,
underwear.
So,
an alarm clock.
I'm giving.
Little sheets.
What
Yeah,
am I going to give
Just
away?
give a pissy pair of underwear away, Kyle.
there it is.
Back
Okay,
with-
like and share the Facebook feed. And you get all kinds of great chances. Plus 10 cup mountain whiskey. Here we go. Are you ready? Are you kidding me? Come on, right away. All right. I'm doing these in order. This
Oh,
one
boy.
is for Swindle.
Oh God.
I'm asking everything that comes through. Just let
Oh
me
no,
know.
don't do that.
Asking everything. Gerald, what is the difference between Trey McKinney and Jacob Wheeler?
Wait, what? Wait, ask that again.
What is the difference between Trey? This is from Spence Watley. What is the difference between Trey McKinney and Jacob Wheeler? I don't know. Is there a punchline to this? I see Kyle laughing.
Huh?
Huh? Look at Kyle. You just turned your alarm clock off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say the only difference is age. I don't know. I'm not. gonna
age.
say that.
Okay, we'll leave it.
Okay.
We'll leave it right there.
I'm supposed to be a Christian. My wife would want me to do better.
Yes. Hey, now Lee King asked this question, and this is to James Watson. But James, I don't think there's like an entry fee that you could pay for this. But will James Watson ever consider joining the Bass Elites?
You can't just fucking join the Bass Elite.
That's what Lee thinks. Lee
Yeah,
King,
yeah.
I'm asking everything.
Hey, I'm gonna call Bassmaster. I'd like to be a part of your elites. No, hell no. And let me be clear to the person and everybody else listening. James Watson will never qualify for the elites. Ever. Because I cannot consistently catch enough bass to finish in the top of the AOY standings to do so.
Okay.
Would you consider
See,
fishing?
I said it with my own mouth.
Hold on.
That. So
What if
shit, I'll punch him in the face.
James, what if the way to get there would have changed?
Whoa.
If the way to get there was to change, how?
You
could
could
just
just
win
join.
that Bass Nation National Championship. That's one thing.
No. Next year, what if the format were to change?
What do you mean, Kyle?
Kyle,
speculation.
Oh no, I'm just asking the question.
What? Or you're probably just asking, would I fish the elites if the invitation was there?
No. I'm saying, like, say, there's all kinds of things that change in our sport. What if, like, it went back to like 3 divisions and then that situation?
Like you win, you're in, or something like that?
Yeah, just anything different.
You could go flip Botox and win.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I'm not against it.
James, would you consider fishing the MPFLs?
I would consider fishing the MPFL as well. Here's what I'm less inclined to do, guys. I'm less inclined to sign a one-sided contract that makes me pay, with expenses and everything, $60,000 to go fish. That's what I'm not interested in.
Okay. Well,
okay. Fair enough. Hey, that's a good question, and it's a good viewer
question. Here's a caveat to that. Because you have to make $60,000 in sponsor money to just break even for the year.
I would argue you got to make more than that, because what do you do?
Yes, you're correct. Yeah. Do you know most anglers out there fishing the big leagues? They'll be lucky if they make $40,000 a year. I can go pick aluminum cans up and make more money than that.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about some butthole pictures.
Butthole pictures, good. Hey,
I mean, Omni Tackle could put highlight some dirty feet pictures, and then maybe like a butt crack picture, crack of the
James
day.
Watson OnlyFans exclusively.
I already got my OnlyFans, guys.
You have an
naked boat dock fishing. Boat dock fishing.
Yeah.
Guys, if you'll go to OnlyFans, I got a page there. It's Guy Farts in Ziploc. That's me.
That's you. Well, speaking of this and all that fishing Botox, this question from Brian.
Wait, you got to ask Gerald if he's fishing MPFL.
No, I got to know what Brian's got to say. I'm going to.
No,
yeah. Well, that is another question.
I'm going to fish the MPFL. Yes.
Okay.
You are, Gerald.
Yes.
Awesome. That's excellent. Okay. This question is from Brian Dorr. Brian Dorr says, show us on the dial where Boyd Duckett touched you.
Yes. Is that a question to me?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I got to be careful. I got lawyers involved in this shit.
Okay. Was it below the belt?
Look, it's obvious that Boyd doesn't like me and probably wouldn't touch me at the 10-foot pole.
Did he make an example of you? For real? Because you are a very amiable person.
Guys,
you may have said some things
that see that Boyd Duckett made an example out of me. I was called by Kathy Fennell before my first $10,000 fine. Nice lady. I love Kathy. I've known her for years. And she said, James, I need you to tone it down so that I don't have to assess you a fine. I said, I respect you, Kathy. I'll tone it down. 10 days later, I make a phone call to the Anglers Board and I say, I would like to bring up the fact that I do not want to fish against Boyd Duckett, the CEO of Major League Fishing, and as a conflict of interest, I am now saying, since he has said that if anglers don't want to fish against him, then all they have to do is say, I don't want you to fish, Boyd. And I brought that to the Anglers Association, to the board. And 2 days after I brought that and asking for a vote amongst the other 79 anglers, I was fined $10,000 after I was
You're a bad boy.
I was already warned by Kathy. I had assumed that what she was telling me, James, calm down so I don't have to fine you turned into, I'm going to fine you after I made that call. And then I pressed the fact that Bobby Lane did a dope deal with Boyd to keep his career average. And I made a stink behind the curtains about that. And that's when Boyd says, if you don't stop, you're going to get fined some more. Obviously, this is what Boyd said. Obviously, a $10,000 wasn't enough, James. And I said, what do you mean, Boyd? He says, you're still talking. And I said, what are you going to do next, Boyd? 20,000, 100,000, 500,000? I don't give a shit. And that's when they assessed the 2-year suspension on me. That's when they put the gag order. Actually, they released the gag order and let me talk. Okay. So I've requested to be the ridiculous 2-year suspension to be amended so I could go fish a Toyota or something around the house. They said, no, you can't do it. But 2 guys that conspire in the lock at the Harris chain can damn near kill each other by saying openly that they're going to run a no wake zone, have a crash, and they get suspended the rest of the season. Now, you tell me if Boyd doesn't have a hard-on for me.
That's financial profiling.
He's financially profiled me twice now. I've got 2 fines, one for $4,000 back in 2015 at La Crosse, and the other one $10,000. And it's all because Boyd knows that I have other means to make a living, and I don't have to play with him. I don't have to put up with his ridiculous banter and his ridiculous snake oil salesman bullshit.
You looking to sponsor an Elite Series angler?
Hey,
he pay you some fine money.
Yeah,
he'll pay some fines. James has probably paid more fines in bass fishing than anybody that's ever lived, and he's never failed a polygraph. he just pays fines because he can. I'm just like, I'm looking at James going, damn, bro. Now, hey, I mean, I've lost some money. I mean, I wrote a pretty big check to MLF too, so I'm ahead of you. I'm ahead.
Tell me how Gerald. Tell me how one-sided. Kyle, tell me how one-sided the contracts we sign are.
Yeah.
With the leagues.
Yeah.
But
you can't say anything.
The deal is, it's like, what, are you not going to sign it?
Exactly. That's what I said. What, are you going to not sign it when you've already signed contracts with
Dude, I don't even read that son of a gun. Why would I even? Can I be honest? I don't even know how one-sided it is because I don't think I've ever read it.
You can't.
Why would I read it? What am I not?
You at least need to know that your wife or girlfriend or family can't say anything derogatory about the organization online, or you will be fined.
Oh yeah, like Boyd's wife wasn't allowed to throttle me on social media. Good point, Gerald.
Well, your contract's different than mine, but ours is like, it's pretty. Like Kyle said, we don't have no choice. We're just going to sign it. There's no choice, but you have to know that, like, you got to behave. Yeah. You got to behave. Me and Kyle's like, we got to behave.
I was the Forrest L. Wood Sportsman of the Year one time back in the day. That's how great of a sportsmanship I had spewed from my body. So.
Oh, spewed.
Yeah. So.
Sounds like
I'm not bitter, boys. I got people telling me, well, you should have known to keep your mouth shut. Well, I'm sorry, but there's certain things that Sergeant First Class Watson cannot keep his mouth shut about. General Tyrek said, hang on, after Red Crest, just keep it to yourself, James. We're going to have a talk with leadership. Well, guess who isn't in the sport of bass fishing coming up real soon? General Tyrek. All right? They weren't happy with the leadership over there. And here's the thing. If they let me back in the Toyotas, it'd simply be a money grab for me to fish Lake of the Ozark tournaments and stuff like that. But I don't believe that I should give MLF another $1 of my money. Not $1. Now, that takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, big time. This is a weird time in the sport.
We got any more questions? I love those questions.
Okay. Can I be honest though, Pat? Let me be honest. I don't know what to think. That's how weird it is for me. I don't know what to think. I'm just gonna say.
Like I'll go 100%. I agree with Kyle. I find myself at my farmhouse by the wall behind me, and I come up here and work like endless hours every day. My wife calls it dirt therapy. She said, "You're literally trying to work yourself to death." It's because I don't know how to process what's in front of me. Does that make sense? Like I don't even know what to think. I don't
It's
know. It is really weird. Like I've never had that much trouble deciphering like what the next great decision would be.
Well, check this out, G. Check this out. Here's a viewer question that kind of goes along with that. Now, this is an interesting twist. This is from Brian Slayton. And he says, I feel the one question we haven't gotten a good answer to is this. He said, I would like to see an Elite Series angler argue the reason that they need this technology.
You ain't going to hear that crap, bro. I'm going to go ahead and
Oh, you ain't going to hear it?
No, it's much easier to say you're a white supremacist than it is to say, hey, I need that. And you know what? I would respect that. I would respect if somebody said, hey, bro, that's my ace in the hole, and I've learned it, and I don't want to give it up. That's cool. I got you. I got you.
But it's not that hard to say, because if you think about it this way, Gerald, you and I go into next year. I don't care how shallow our schedule is. I don't care how many river systems we have. You're telling me that if someone said to you, just you and I, you and me, we can't have live scope on our boat next year, you wouldn't be worried? I'd be worried.
If I couldn't have it, everybody else could?
Yes.
Yeah. But ask me how I would go into next season if I knew everybody else couldn't have it and I couldn't either.
It would be the same, I think.
No, I'd be walking around naked, beating on a set of pants.
I'm just saying, like, as far as yes,
right? But see what I'm saying? The people that don't want to go without it would be a nervous wreck. I'm just saying, why don't we hear people that's like are really good at it step to this mic and say, you know what, guys, listen, I perfected this. I got on it early. I learned to shortcut the process in a way that I moved ahead of my time. And this is my ace in the hole, and I don't want to give it up. I respect the fact that guy just said it. It's his deal. But you never hear that argument. That's a great question, Pat. You never hear anybody arguing why they got to have it. Not publicly. It's an ace in the hole. There's some guys that's so good with it, I wouldn't want to give it up neither. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I was as good as some of those other guys with it, I wouldn't want to give it up.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't trade the days that I had learning how to throw spinner bait and flip bushes with my dad for any of that bullshit ever.
I get more phone calls this fall, and I talked to a guy today, and he called me, and I was like, what's up, dog? He said, man, I just want you to know what it's like to be out here flipping grass. And I can hear him flipping. It's going, and he said, Gunner, I said, what? He said, I'm just letting you know how great this is. And I'm like, you dirty dog. So, like, I'm seeing people want to go back and just do that. But in tournament fishing, the age group of Kyle Patrick, younger and in that mid-range, you are not going to beat them day in and day out like that. Like, you're just not. I'm not going to be able to go flip grass and beat Kyle at Gunnersville. Not this time of year. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, interesting.
On a great day for me flipping grass at Gunnersville right now, 23. A bad day for him scoping at Gunnersville right now is going to be 24. A bad day.
Wild.
It's great.
Wild stats. I mean,
that good.
Hey, your great day, you didn't let me get to your great day. It's going to be 28-31.
See,
and I'm so far back.
I've only caught over 31 on fork.
Right. So, and I made this point to someone the other day. Here's what I'm a little worried about, Pat. And you guys are numbers guys, so you've watched the sport. You know your heart, like you study it. You're not just some crazy guy cutting up. Before fork this year, I don't know what the number is, but I'm going to guess we didn't have more than 12 or 15 century belts ever given out. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. The stats have gone way high.
Hell, we give 10 away in one tournament.
Yeah. Huge.
So all I ask is in 20 years from now, what's the records look like skewed?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I thought about that. Hey, I thought about that because when I was on that stage getting that century belt, and I'll be completely honest, Dave Mercer said, you get a century belt, you get a century belt. I was like,
an Oprah show.
I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was excited.
Right, but it did overwhelm you.
I just feel like it would be like if everyone in the top 10 got a blue trophy.
Right. It wasn't as special as what you thought it was going to be.
Because when you see a century belt, it's usually like first and maybe second.
Right.
Yeah.
So I look at the stats on that, and I'm like, so what does Bass's stats look like as we progress on down the road?
Yeah.
Like every record gets broken. Even in MLF, every record gets broken.
This is an interesting question here, guys. I'm going to keep moving.
Come on.
We'll get a couple more here, and whoever wants to take this one. This is a pretty cool question. It's from Travis Ketron, and he says, "Why do these companies have to make bass fishing so complicated for the pros? I just don't get it."
Complicated for what?
What do you mean?
Pros. He says, "Why do these companies have to make bass fishing so complicated for the pros?" What do you think
For
that
the
means?
rules?
No, I think he means bass fishing in general, like when we go out on the water.
Yeah, make it so complicated. What do you mean? Is he saying because there's so much technology, you're not just tying on a buzz bait, now you're turning on 5 graphs? Is that what that is? I don't know.
Well, if they think they can make $1, they're gonna try to build it and sell it to you.
I think that's a great question for Kyle Patrick because he's seen it on both sides. As a young angler coming in, do you think it's more complicated?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. And I remember in 2022, I was overwhelmed as shit. Like, I remember I say this, like I am good. I'm good with live scope. There's no doubt. But ask Wesley. I hardly even know how to throw a minnow. Those guys are so advanced with the minnow, dude. It's unbelievable. Wesley and I were fishing the same stuff with a minnow at St. Lawrence. He caught 24 a day. I caught like 18 on a jig, dragging it like an idiot. But I'm good with it when it comes to looking at fish on the bottom. That's what I got good at. But I got it in 2022. I remember I got LVS 34 in 2022 with the Oneida Lake Open, and I went, what's going on? And that's when I was like, I was somewhat new. That was the year after I traveled with Paul.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, there is a lot going on here. The mapping, the graphs all over my boat. I was like, gosh, man. Like, and it was overwhelming. It is overwhelming still. Cause you got it. I mean, now with the restrictions, you're like, well, how do iPad, freaking screens? Like, I mean, seriously though, like it makes I like that question a lot because it's true.
Kyle, did you ever figure out does your phone count as a screen? That was one of the questions we had because we have 55 inches of screen, but yet I can pull my phone out and look at my Humminbird Lake Master. Does that iPhone count as screen? We don't know that.
I asked Lisa if it counted. I said, if I pull up my phone and I already have 55 inches on the front, now my phone's an extra 5 inches. So am I at 60?
Wish mine was an extra 5 inches.
Yeah, we could all use that.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky if I'm 5 inches. Anyway, I got freaking. But yeah, like, can we have
FishingBoatTalks.com.
Yeah, but like, is that and I had the question the other day when I asked, and Kyle, you might know this, you might not. I said that 55 inches was for boating safety. Did you know that? But I'm like, but it's not regulated on how high you can keep it up. It's not written.
I mean, my beat down mount, I can put that thing to and like it'd be like this. I'd be like,
okay,
look at that live scope.
That's what I asked. I said, so we have 55 inches, but it's not written how high I can bring it. And my answer I was told was they will be at the first tournament. And if they get in your boat and think yours is too high, guess what you get to do that night, Kyle?
Come on.
Yeah, that's how we're going to do it, bro. They're going to make you re-rig your boat that night.
What is going on with bass fishing?
I said, so I don't have a standard on how to rig it.
Hey,
so
gee,
I
you know what I was
thinking? Great if we reversed it, Pat. If we looked up, could we reverse scope neck? Like if I put it on a 9-foot pole, because my old ass gets tired. Like I could look down half a day and look up half a day.
I have a question. I mean, not a question. I don't know why I said that.
I like that. Do you have to pee?
You got to take a potty break now?
I don't. I actually, no.
You're never going to live that down, my friend.
What I thought when they came out with that rule, I was like, because as we're talking about, I know that I can provide more value to every one of I've had a bunch of calls today. I'm going to provide way more value to my sponsors through my neat stuff I'm doing on YouTube and social and stuff like that, right? I thought about doing a YouTube series and going to fish the elites in my Phoenix 920 with not one graph, but one on the console for mapping. And I just did a YouTube series with a Humminbird, Apex 13, and Lakemaster, and that's it. And see where I fared out. Everyone would watch it. Everybody.
Well, and let me tell you what I was thinking. Had we went half and half this year, that's exactly what I had decided when I left New York. I was going to run all Humminbird with no forward-facing sonar and document the whole year. But it's a waste of time if we do all 9 of them with it. If we went half and half, I was going to gamble on the half that everybody else couldn't have it, that I could catch up. And same thing, and just document it where it was just like the mental freeness. So, like, the main reason I want to fish NPFL, I think it's going to be mentally healthy for me.
You nailed it.
Because I'm not worried about nothing. I just put the boat in the water and I'm like, bro,
look,
breathe.
If I can get, I've already had many conversations with as many of the sponsors as I can. If I can get that extra 30, because for me, it just comes down to, can I afford the entry fee?
Well, and that's what it's going to be for everybody, because it's a tough economy this fall. So it's going to be, there's a lot of guys wanting to fish the NPFL, but adding another 30 or 40 grand on an economy that's already kind of not in great shape, I think it's going to be. But I think you're right. A lot of guys are going to want to try it.
I will. If I can get into if I hit the money to fish the NPFL, I will be fishing and I will be YouTubing the whole thing, guaranteed. Every second of that thing, just because. And if I finish dead last, that's fine. But I want to see
for the NPFL.
Yeah.
Okay, you're doing that, Kyle, too. You're doing it too.
I
want to really badly. It just comes down to the money.
I want to go commentate for the NPFL more than I'd want to fish it.
Hey, do you think Boyd would sponsor you for the NPFL, Watson?
I don't know. I could probably sell him 1 billion of his junk ass white rods. So,
there's no hard feelings here.
Let's be honest.
Swindle, what would Ray Scott think of all this going on in Bass Fishing?
Who is Ray Scott?
Cut it out.
Ray Scott would pull them wranglers up a little bit, and he'd say, "We're going to have to get a shot of scotch and water and talk this over."
Yeah,
because it is not how this thing was headed out in my mind. How I seen the sport going,
boys. I had a conversation with a grizzled, seasoned veteran. Called me just a day ago.
Okay,
used to fish the top 100s. G.
Yeah.
He told me that back in the day, they went through this kind of stuff. And the anglers were getting together to start to do something to have that coalition. And he said, this is what happened, James. He said, the guy's name is Cecil Kingsley. He's from Kansas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he says, Ray Scott got a hold of 20 or 25 of those anglers, and he paid them to stay put, to be quiet, don't be a part of that. And that's how the coalition never got started.
Well, Boyd Duckett paid a few guys to leave to go to the BPT.
Boom.
And that's what nobody knows about. And I know who they were. And he paid them very lucrative to live. But guess what?
Right.
He miscounted his army.
That's
because
right.
he forgot who could burn him when they went the other way.
That's
so
right.
like that's what happens when the payoff starts. And what I hear people say is like about the Alabama rig. You know who stopped the Alabama rig? The anglers had got together. We had private meetings, not Bass. We had private meetings and decided this is going to be bad for the industry. So I love to hear people say, well, Bass made that decision. No, the anglers forced Bass to make that decision. We thought we was not going to be great for the tackle industry, and it was not an ethical way. So we pushed that to them to say, and does anybody agree that we were wrong?
No.
Looking back on it, I don't think it was a horrible decision.
I don't think it was a horrible decision because I hate throwing that thing so
right. But if we wouldn't have gotten together and done it,
but
it would still been there to throw it.
As one of our viewers had said earlier, how can they have banned an Alabama rig and been so concerned about it catching so many bass? Yet here we are with FFS. So
Hey, we ban live bait, we ban trolling, we ban long lining. Like, I want to ask them, why can't we troll?
I said that earlier in the show. Why can't we troll? Why can't we bust out the old hell benders?
Why can't we long line? You know,
exactly.
I think it just comes down to what
spoon plugs.
Yeah.
Whoa, Kyle has never trolled a hellbender. He's too young for that.
You know what a muddler minnow is?
Yes. Do you know what the old mud bug was with the metal
mud
bill?
bug? Yes, sir. That's what I was looking for. G, the mud bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Hawaiian wiggler, the one you rig on top and blah, 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 like a little bug.
Yeah.
You said
I remember the ad.
Ryan, you're not old enough for that, Ryan. You're thinking about that Hawaiian wiggler.
I mean, I know about them, but
it was the old inline spinner.
Yeah.
Kind of like an old Hildebrandt bait, where they had the old Hildebrandt had the snagless Sally.
It's like a spy bait worm.
Yes. Steve Kennedy cracked 22 on a snagless Sally at St. John's River 4 or 5 years ago in the lily pads on day one, way before live scoping took over. He was throwing a snagless Sally with a real pork on it, the real number 11 Uncle Josh. Kyle's like, y'all are talking French.
No, dude.
It's like, no, I know the Sally boys.
No. So Uncle Josh, their pork, dude, that's what first got me into jig fishing. I remember I was 15 years old and I couldn't drive. I had this, my mom had it had 200,000 miles on it. This Honda Pilot, those like bigger Hondas, like the block looking.
Oh, the white one.
Yeah.
The white one that used to come pick me up in.
He got in your mama joke in there.
Yeah.
You should have never come on, Kyle.
Dude, no, but listen, so I couldn't drive legally, but I wanted to go fish this tournament, and I'd never fished this lake, Onondaga Lake. I'm sure you guys heard of it. Dude.
Oh yeah.
And one of my buddies, he's like, how old is he? 55. His name's Jim O'Brien. He was like, I'll go with you. My parents were like, and I was like, no, fishing transcends age. It's nothing like that. You know what I mean? And we went there and we had nothing but these homemade jigs. Pork, smashed them. First ever tournament outside of like my little tiny region there. And
101, Big Daddy, number 25. What are you fishing, Kyle? Throw it at us.
Come on.
The Big Daddy or the Junior?
It was the Big Daddy.
Oh God, the slow fall.
Oh, the number one,
dude.
Number one.
Literally the triangle cuts, dude. I was flipping it into wood. That was the best moment of my whole life, honestly, because it got me into fishing, dude. Fishing tournaments. Badass.
Here's the question, and this is for Ryan, Pat, James. How do you get the chunk off your bait?
May I answer? I would always just turn the pork sideways, and it was able to pull off the hook.
You turn it. You start
because it got caught on the weed guard.
You twist it backwards like a screw, not lefty loosey. You go righty tighty, it'll just spin right off. Put it back in the jar.
Yes, sir.
Now, G, did you thread it on? Did you ever thread it on?
No, I went with the original hole in it.
Okay, because
I threaded.
So on the smaller jigs, I used to thread it on.
Oh, no, that's a gangster trick right there.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, on those little jigs on Oneida, you drag them on that. Oh my God, dude.
You want to go drag a jig, ain't you?
Yeah.
He keeps talking about it.
Hey, you wanting to turn all that shit off, throw out the back of the boat, just hold it, just pull it over a rock a little bit and look around and go, that's a bite.
Oh, yeah. Are your power shot rig, Kyle?
Oh, dude.
There you go.
Don't get me started. That's how I made it elite series.
Do you know who introduced that?
Give us another one.
All right, Pat, give us a question.
Okay, here's a good one. This one is for James and Gerald.
Oh God.
Oh, me first.
Okay.
Gerald.
No, I think this is a great question.
Me first.
The guy's name. Hold on a second. Let me find the guy's name. All right. So I'll get to it. James, have you or Gerald ever considered auditioning for the replacement of Zona? Let me find this guy's name.
No.
You would never replace Zona, either one of you?
You can't replace him. You can't
replace Zona.
That would be like somebody telling me, hey, would you ever get married again if your wife left you? I could never replace my wife, and I would never get married again. You can't replace it. Whoever
I
doesn't
like
fill
how you
that
put
seat.
that. Never.
Yeah,
Hey,
never.
well,
I
well
100%
said,
agree.
Gerald.
He's like
well
part of the
said.
reason he's part of the reason sorry to interrupt you, James. He's just side note. I know this question wasn't for me, but Zona is the reason that I am pretty much that I'm tournament master.
There's a couple of people that I think's irreplaceable in fishing, and it's going to be Tommy Sanders, Zona, and I'm going to say Dave Mercer would be pretty hard to replace.
He's the best front man on the stage.
So I'm thinking those three guys. Like if someone asks you to go play backup behind that quarterback, I don't think so, man. I don't think
tough.
that's just not. James, would you ever want that job?
I agree. You can't replace him. To fill his shoes is impossible. He's got the great personality, everything going with him. Would I like to be in there somewhere? Yes. Do I want to shift gears and go more commentating? Absolutely. Whether it's on Bass, MPFL, or working side by side with JT Kenny. I mean, not really, but if the money's there, I would. I love JT.
Me too.
He puts up with their shit, but he likes that paycheck until it bounces. But no, you can't replace.
We just jabbing.
There's facts out there, guys. You know.
I mean, you can't
replace him. I would not want to be like compared to him if I was ever in a position like that ever. Because
there's a great question from Rob Collard. Rob Collard is the gentleman.
Oh, Rob,
you can't replace him, but Mercer didn't, in my opinion, didn't replace Ray Scott. He just took the position. Someone's got to take the position.
He took the position, and then I think Mercer formed into who he is. The first couple of years, would you say Mercer is where he is now? But no, I think Mercer is now such a staple, the voice of fishing, the voice of the stage, that it's grew into be that I can't see it any other way.
Yeah,
right.
He's like the Ryan Seacrest of.
Yes, without quite that good of a smile.
Yes,
Seacrest had a really
He's never tried to high five a blind kid though.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say
here's what I'll say about Zona. I hate watching myself. Okay. I rewatched the 2 times that he commentated on me this year, not to watch myself, but just to listen to Zona.
Did he call you a swamp bat or something?
What?
He called you a swamp bat.
Yeah, fruit bat.
Fruit bat.
Like, but Zona is such a legend, man. Like, oh God.
Hey, I don't know where the hell this show went tonight, but I'm having a great time.
It went to hell in the handbasket, Pat. You knew better to have me and him on together. And then when you bring Adderall Ricky on there with us, yeah, there we go.
My BB in a boxcar, the whole episode.
I'm going to start looking for Ritalin, and I'm going to be Kyle's manager and just go get him like sponsors from like Ritalin, Adderall.
Oh, dude.
The Pfizer
Sign
company.
me up.
Start writing letters.
Sign me up. They've got money falling out of their pockets.
Kyle will just be mellow, just holding his rod. Like, hey, I'm Kyle Patrick. I used to be excited. Now I can focus. You kick ants over, I can put them in alphabetical order in the same bed. Today,
I got a question. I got a question for you, Pat, in the Galaxy.
Yeah.
How would you guys like to see G and I pull up to your team tournament someday, just out of the blue? Just drop the boat in.
Fruit jar tournament. Just show up.
Go fishing against all you guys. Get our teeth kicked in. Kick your teeth in. Doesn't matter. How epic would that series be with G and I just showing up, cutting guys off, going down their own banks
at the Tuesday nighter?
Yeah. Oh, I hate night fishing. I would not.
South Shore Bass Open.
Yeah.
I tell my nephew Trey, if we ain't caught him by 8, Unc's gonna be on the boat ramp. Because when I break all my shit off, I'm not tying on in the dark. So me and Trey fish a wildcatter. We got to have it won by like 7:40, or Lulu's got dinner at 8, and I'm done. And he said we might get a check. We might get a check. I'm like, we'll throw him back. Daddy's headed home anyway.
I would rather jerk off a dog as to go night fishing.
Me too, dude. Why do Wesley Gore loves night fishing
I hate it.
more than normal. He goes to all those
Swindle, they're
Alabama
doing
lakes.
stuff
He
to
throws
dogs
a
now.
Dude, he loves it. I went out with him. I'm like, I would rather watch paint dry sitting in a chair and not able to speak than night fish.
Yeah, I hate night fishing. Night times for sleeping.
Hey, Watson, I got to tell you something pretty interesting about you. I do research and development for this show, you know. So I read the MLF stats, and things that James Watson likes is mowing the lawn and lake parties.
I do.
Mowing the lawn and lake parties are your two favorite things. Is that true?
I want to party with you, James.
Absolutely.
No, you don't, son. No, you don't.
And having sleepovers at Gerald's.
No,
I'll bring plastic sheets.
My wife said James if he gets in a hot tub naked, I'm hanging up right now.
All right, we're ending this thing. We're ending it. It's
Hey,
what is he doing?
That's my That's my new swimming pool right there.
Oh,
James Watson is naked. For those on the podcast, he's naked and he's by blue lights in a pool.
Yeah, and that's the moon. Look at what. Hey, watch this. I can't find it. That's
God. That's what she said.
And he's naked by the hot tub.
That's not it.
Well, hey, James just built like one of the prettiest homes on Table Rock, so he's fixing to VRBO that and make more money than all of us. So we can't laugh at James much more.
I love it. In the bottom of the pool says hashtag FBD, and it lights up.
FBD written in the bottom. Here's the actual hot tub, boys, right there.
Oh my God, you're living right, bro.
You're some kind of playboy.
It's just me and my little winger.
Playboy.
Isn't that right,
Biscuit.
Biscuit?
Hey,
Biscuit.
if you don't make a shirt that says Biscuit Fishes Boat Docks, you're a candy ass.
And Kyle the bedwetter.
Hey, you can see my biscuit on your dock. That's the shirt of glory right there.
Oh, skipping biscuits.
No, you looking for biscuits on boat docks.
Look here. Who's here? Who's here? Get him. Bite him in the ass. Who's here? Who's here?
Yeah.
We have totally destroyed a Stray Cast show, and I didn't think that was possible.
No, it was great.
We've had Pat and Ryan flustered the whole night. They're both
not flustered at all. And it was actually, I'm like, man, I think I'll just use these questions next time.
Yeah, you made this easy. You guys made this interview easy. We didn't even
Super easy.
Just let you go.
Yeah,
super easy.
Adderall Andy was our great substitute there. He just stepped in.
Yeah.
I love it.
And for the fans, I love me some Kyle Patrick. He'll tell you that. I met Kyle when he was rooming with a buddy of ours, when he was just actually out fishing with him and helping him. So I've known Kyle since when he was trying to get into fishing up to now, and I'm proud of who he's become, like what he's done, and I know what an incredible year he has. So we may negotiate and we may talk around FFS, but at the end of the day, I don't take nothing away from him or any of what the rookies have done. They've caught their ass.
Thanks,
and
that's
what I tell them. I'm like, I got no. Hey, these guys whipped the shit out of me all year. You can't. There's no denying it. They whipped me straight up, and straight down. You just got to figure out how to compete. You don't take away from what they've done. You look at where we think we need to be in 5 years and say, is it healthy? If it is, let's keep moving.
Kyle, tell them when we met.
We met at the Mississippi River. I said, James Watson. And he said, Kyle Patrick.
I made it over to me and shake my hand.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
And then, dude, I went up that boat ramp and absolutely demolished that porta potty. I mean, dramatic moment.
Hey, I mean, we can do this all night, boys. Can I go throw a Tombstone pizza in real quick? You guys care?
Hey, I'm about to go throw my own Tombstone ass in that bed. I've been working daylight to dark at this farm. I've got a guy interested in buying it, and I wasn't planning on selling it. And I've been working daylight to dark.
That's what Lulu told us. So let's give away some prizes. Let's give it away. Let's give away some stuff, and then we'll close this deal out. Where'd Watson go? Watson left us right before the giveaway.
I guarantee you his phone died.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, so
party.
Here's Watson. All right, now, Gingy, can you text James? Are you there, Andrew Ellenberger, Ginger Ninja? St. Clair champion?
Ginger Ninja.
He's the Ginger Ninja.
Where's he at?
He's
There
got
he
him.
is.
They got
Okay.
him.
So the boys have the winners.
Yep.
Okay. You want to text Kyle the tin cup one? Text Kyle Patrick the tin cup one if you don't mind. All right. Let's start with the one and only, the jovial, the man who makes all our lives happy, whether he knows it or not. It's Mr. James Watson. We're going to start with you, James.
Okay.
And you are about to make a lucky viewer of the Bass Galaxy so happy. What are you giving away, by the way?
I'm just going to put as soon as I find out their size, I'm going to put a care package together from fishingboatdocks.com so they can proudly fish boat docks all around the country, preferably in BFLs and Toyota Series.
There it is. Okay.
I mean, should I start a fishing boat docks incentive program for BFLers?
I think
Oh
so.
my God.
Yes.
That
for
would
sure.
be amazing.
Great idea. Great
If you
idea.
weigh in and you're wearing a fishing boat docks, yes.
Yes.
You get extra money.
Dude,
incentive money.
I will personally do that.
I couldn't have made it today without my fishing boat docks gear. I think it was a major move of the event. Fishing boat docks gear allowed me
Yeah.
To
Wow.
drive
You
up
can
and
find-
down the lake.
Yeah.
You can
safely
find
and
all
securely.
My move
all
of the
my
day.
gear on Omni Tackle now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My fishing boat guy shirt got me up and down the lake safely.
Yeah,
Yes.
up and down the lake, got back just in time. Broke 4 or 5 of them white rods. I don't know what happened with them, but my fishing boat dog gear got me through.
It's funny.
I've got me a winner too. I just got me a text to a winner right there.
All right. Well, did we give James's away yet or no?
What did we?
James ain't said the
Yeah,
name.
you should. It's on your. It's in your text, James.
Look
Who
at your
won you?
text messages.
Oh shit! How do I do all this? It's gonna blow my mind.
James.
Oh my god, my phone's upside down.
We lost him.
Andy I got a text from Andy.
Yeah, that's
Matt
him.
Holder. Wait, I know Matt Holder. Why's he got to win?
Well, it's randomizer. We don't know what to tell you. Matt
Right.
Holder won.
That's rigged.
It's not rigged. You want us to pick somebody else? You already like? Do you
No,
know
then Matt
personally?
would not be a fan of mine anymore.
Oh, does Matt mow your lawn?
No, I'm on my yard. Didn't you read my bio? You did.
I did. Yeah, you're a thing. You like mowing the lawn. And you...
Dang.
Whew, this show.
All right, so Matt Holder won.
Yeah.
You won the
Andy,
fishingboatdocs.com care pack.
Andy, get me Matt's shirt size and address to mail him his package.
Yes, sir.
Will
Rock and
do.
Show Fantasy.
Yeah.
Gonna get that for
I
you.
can't believe Boyd didn't win. That's the
Well,
bullshit.
he may win Gerald's prize.
Oh yes.
It's a randomizer.
Yes.
Okay, Gerald, you're what are you giving
Okay.
away?
I'm going to actually give away one of my Bushbuster hats right here with the mountains and all that. I'll mail you a hat out. And my winner tonight is Phil Schaefer.
Phil Schaefer. That's right. Direct
Yeah,
message.
Phil.
Straight Cast
Yeah.
Facebook. Rock
And
and
we're
Show
going to need to
Fantasy.
get Phil's address, and we will mail you out a Bushbusters hat, Bushbuster fishing when you want to go bust in bushes. Huh?
I like it.
You sure it
I
was?
like
Mount.
You sure that
Bird in the
wasn't?
bush is worth 5 in the pecker. That's what they
Yeah.
say.
Oh, God.
Yes.
So what's
Was that
Kyle
Phil?
gonna
Dig in the bush
Kyle's
is
gotta
worth
have
2 in the
something
boat.
good tonight.
Was that name
Kyle,
Phil
what are you going to give
McNuts?
us?
Phil McCracken.
No,
Phil McCracken.
Phil McCracken. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Hey, Kyle Patrick, you get to give away some Tin Cup Mountain whiskey tonight.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Kyle's not old enough.
Oh, that's true. And plastic sheets from Kyle Patrick.
Yes, some rubber
Yes.
sheets.
Yes.
God, I'm going to show up with
Autograph.
them plastic sheets.
Swindle, you got to bring some plastic sheets to the first event next
We'll
year.
do.
I will be wearing an adult diaper in the next Elite Series.
That's a
event.
cape.
You can drive a lot more miles.
There's a cape just right here running down the lake. That Phoenix running 70 in that cape just. And Kyle will be
Boom, you
hollering,
hit a boat
"Listen,
dock."
if you get that sudden urge, just let it go. Don't fight the feeling. That was a love song.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Um,
Oh boy.
Kyle, who won the whiskey?
Mike Davis.
Mike
Oh, my.
Davis. You won the whiskey.
Yum,
All right.
yum. Good.
Whew.
Okay. All right. Now here's the Bill Lowen just texted me and said, Pat, this was like a presidential debate.
God.
People actually answered questions. So.
Yes.
Actually, with a sentence and not just some words strung together.
Yeah, it wasn't word salad. Not a lot of word salad.
Yeah.
It kind of was. The whole show was to cheer up James Watson. So hopefully you're happy now, James.
It
He's
worked.
been laughing. He's been laughing.
It
Yeah.
worked.
It was Kyle Patrick's bedwetting that did it.
That's when you saw the tide turn.
There was a shift in
when
the
when Kyle made
the yellow
confession,
tie.
like I gotta laugh at this. This was pretty good. You know, he made a confession.
Yeah.
That was good.
I did, and that stays with the Bass Galaxy guys.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
one will tell anybody.
I mean, because I can't laugh.
Look, the
Dairy
best
Queen,
story.
shit my pants.
The internet will keep that quiet. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but hey, James, we can't laugh at Pat. We can't laugh at Kyle.
No,
'cause we've done some bad stuff.
No, we can, but it's in good fun because the best stories are shit your pants stories.
No, sneezing in a Dairy Queen while ordering a number 3 and shitting your pants at the same time in front of people. That's where my life's at. At 54, you're one good sneeze away from being crippled or shitting down both legs.
How about your buddy?
You got that to look forward to, Kyle Patrick.
I'm gonna embrace it. I promise.
Embrace the shitty britches.
Building the stairs in your new house, and you're standing out in the driveway, and he's trying to tell you something, and you look at him, and I tell you, hurry up, and he goes, why? I said, because, and then all of a sudden you just shit your pants.
Hey, I got to worry about affording stairs first, okay? And then we'll move on from there.
Kyle's got concrete blocks leading up into the trailer. When he gets that stairway,
I don't have a damn trailer.
after this
Hey,
classic win.
in other news, I did just buy a piece of land. I'm pretty excited about.
Congratulations. You got pull-ups now? He's got pull-ups.
Yeah.
He's wearing pull-ups, and he bought land.
Property. Pull-ups and property. How big a piece of land you buy?
3 acres.
Okay.
Good enough.
Nice, Kyle.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I got it.
You can build
boys, this is a record straight cast. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, God, this is worthless.
It's
a big waste of my life.
You ain't getting this time back, Watson.
I know.
I've enjoyed it, and I love y'all.
Love you too, G.
Got to go to bed. I love all y'all. I love good, healthy debates. That's one good thing about tonight. There was a lot of laughs, a lot of good points, and it gives people a chance to think about it. I think good, healthy debates makes the world better. I do. Fishing and in general, like you got to be able to hear people out. And I'm telling y'all, I need the laughs right now as much as anybody because the way I look at things, like it's hard to find the good stuff. And I'm normally I'm the guy that wakes up every morning and says I'm gonna try to be positive. And when you work on farm equipment for a week, it's hard to be positive because shit breaks every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think like tonight, us laughing as a group. I mean, we got 5 guys on here from all different walks of life. But there's one thing we do have in common. We do love fishing.
We do.
And we can sit here and laugh about it. And I think that is a plus I find tonight. And I needed it. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. There's 2 other things I love. Kyle's mom and Leanne's paper.
If you stuck your wiener on my butter dish, I'll never forgive you.
Oh, man. James, I'm going to figure out what your address is, and I'm coming to your house unannounced. And you're going to come outside and I'm going to be butt naked in your pool. I swear to
I'll let you know where it is,
Don't scare him with a good time. I promise you.
Threaten him.
Butt naked,
Kyle,
hey,
as soon as I let the gimp out on your ass, you'll regret that decision you made.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Watson, close this show for us, would you? Close us out.
All right, Bass Galaxy, it's time for you slobs to go to bed. This is it. We're out of here.
Peace, Bass Galaxy. This has been an Andrew Ellenberger Ginger Ninja production. I'm Pat Renwick, Ryan Whitaker, Gerald Swindle, James Watson, and Kyle Patrick. We'll see you next week. Next Wednesday night, we bid you peace. We bid you Ryan Whitaker. Good luck to you on your tournament, bud.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to our advertisers. Thank you to those advertisers that gave some cool prizes out tonight. Hey! There's Eric. Eric, what's your question for Ryan Whitaker?
Eric wants to go to sleep.
Hey, too bad. Plenty of time for sleeping when you're in James Watson's hot tub. Hey, thank you. Omnia Fishing.
Don't pee.
Tim's Fishing.
Don't pee.
Bob's Jack Plate. Impulse Lithium Batteries. Powerful. Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey. Berkeley Fishing. Abu Garcia. We stay afloat on Crestliner and throw shade with Waterland Sunglasses. TightRopeFishing.com. Home of the baby firework jig. And remember, if you want to bet on anything, where do they go, Ryan? Where do they go?
You got to bet BetDSI.eu.
Bet on anything. BetDSI.eu. Hey, see you next week, Bass Galaxy. Be good. Catch some fish. It fixes everything. We learned that tonight. Our buddy Seth said.